Chapter 2366. Lin Feng attempted to comprehend the Tao of Destiny. He observed the Wheel of Destiny, hoping to learn the cultivation method of the Tao of Destiny from it. However, it was too difficult to comprehend the Tao of Destiny. Every time Lin Feng felt that he was about to comprehend the Tao of Destiny, however, at this time, a strange force seemed to be preventing him from comprehending the Tao of Destiny. Destiny is mysterious. Among the 3,000 great Taos, the Tao of Destiny is the most profound after the Tao of Destiny. It's really not easy to comprehend this great Tao. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself, 1 life, 2 luck, 3 feng shui, 4 accumulation of yin virtue, and 5 study. The word fate contained too many unimaginable Taos. Destiny. Destiny. Mastering one of them would bring endless benefits. Although Lin Feng tried many times to comprehend the Tao of Destiny, he failed every time. This made him rather depressed. Even when it was time to leave Prodigy Peak, Lin Feng was still unable to comprehend the Tao of Destiny. However, he didn't know if the other 8 Prodigy Peaks had comprehended the Tao of Destiny. Those people were also extremely talented people. Perhaps they could comprehend the Tao of Destiny. Swoosh! A ball of light enveloped Lin Feng and teleported him out of the Prodigy Peak. The other 8 were teleported out as well. Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu exchanged glances before Lin Feng quickly left. The great demon god glanced at Lin Feng coldly. However, he didn't chase after Lin Feng in the end. Instead, he chose to fly in another direction. The woman in white gave Lin Feng a deep look before leaving as well. Kikik. Li Gon, who was possessed by the demon blood, let out a few strange laughs before leaving. Lin Feng chose a direction and flew quickly. The heavenly demon emperor's son followed closely behind Lin Feng. Kid, you won't be able to escape. The heavenly demon emperor's son said coldly. Haha, I don't have the energy to fight with you now. Let's fight to the death after we enter the Tower of Prodigies. Lin Feng sneered. He didn't stop to fight the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The Sky Demon Emperor's son gazed at Lin Feng with contempt and said, What? Are you scared? If you're afraid, then kneel in front of this prince and swear to become this prince's slave. This prince will spare your dog life. I think you should be the one kneeling in front of this young master and kowtowing to beg for mercy. However, even if you cry and beg, I will not accept you as my slave, because you are not worthy. Lin Feng curled his lips and said, Courting death? The Sky Demon Emperor's son's eyes were filled with killing intent. He had always been extremely arrogant, so he naturally could not tolerate Lin Feng's provocation. Now, the Sky Demon Emperor's son only wanted to kill Lin Feng. The way I see it, you are the one courting death. Do you believe that I can slap you to death with one hand? Lin Feng continued to provoke the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was enraged. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, Do you think that you can be arrogant in front of this prince just because you defeated Sun Aoxian? A lowly bloodline like yours is nothing more than an ant in front of this prince. If I want to crush you, I can do it as easily as crushing a bug. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was extremely arrogant. Moreover, he was the only son of the Sky Demon Emperor. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was extremely confident in his bloodline. The Sky Demon Emperor had reached the immortal realm in the past. As an existence that surpassed the Great Emperor, the Sky Demon Emperor's son's bloodline was naturally powerful. That was why the Sky Demon Emperor's son was so arrogant. This was because his bloodline inheritance was simply too terrifying. Lin Feng sneered. Do you really think your bloodline is that powerful? There have been many people like your father since ancient times, so don't be so full of yourself. I just didn't want to tell you my identity. If I did, even your father, the Sky Demon Emperor, who you are so proud of, might not even have the right to guard my door. When it came to talking, even 10 of the Sky Demon Emperor's sons were no match for Lin Feng. Therefore, when he heard Lin Feng's mocking words, the Sky Demon Emperor's son was enraged. Shouted the Tian Bestial Emperor's son furiously. Lin Feng, I will cut you into 10,000 pieces. Lin Feng didn't stop to fight the Sky Demon Emperor's son. He quickly flew forward, but Lin Feng didn't speed up to shake off the Sky Demon Emperor's son. He kept the Sky Demon Emperor's son hanging around. Not long after, The Sky Demon Emperor's son realized that something was wrong. He was a cautious person by nature, so he turned around to leave. However, at this moment, a figure silently appeared behind the Sky Demon Emperor's son. It was none other than Gongziyu. Linfeng and Gongziyu were no longer like fire and water. The two of them seemed to be enemies. They seemed to be friends. They had previously discussed how to deal with the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Linfeng wanted the 8th heavenly flame that the Sky Demon Emperor's son controlled. As for Gongziyu, he wanted something else. That thing seemed to be very important to Gongziyu, but Linfeng didn't know what it was exactly. Gongziyu, what? You want to join forces with Linfeng to deal with me? I remember that back in the Martial Heaven continent, you and this Linfeng were sworn enemies, right? The Sky Demon Emperor's son looked at Gongziyu indifferently. Gongziyu said indifferently, "There are no eternal enemies, only eternal benefits," said Linfeng. "There's no need to waste words with him. Let's join forces and kill him." Boom! Linfeng took the initiative to attack. He directly condensed the stoneman gazing at the sea of clouds and sent it flying toward the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Dark Trial. Gongziyu also attacked. He didn't hold back and used his trump card. It was said that the Dark Trial was a terrifying technique that had been passed down since the primordial era. Who had created it? No one knew. Gongziyu used it. Heaven and earth instantly darkened. The power of the trial descended from the sky and shot toward the Sky Demon Emperor's son. "Demon extermination!" shouted the Sky Demon Emperor's son. In the face of Linfeng and Gongziyu's attacks, he didn't dare to be careless. Thus, he also used his trump card. Buzz. A vast world appeared behind the Sky Demon Emperor's son. An ancient god appeared in that world. It was a sky demon. Sky demons. It was said that they were demons born from heaven and earth. They were one of the most ancient demon races, and they were exceptionally terrifying. When a sky demon descends, it condensed a sky demon projection that shook heaven and earth. "Sky demon descends. All living beings bow," said the mysterious sky demon in a low voice. He opened his hand and flipped it. Chapter 2367. The divine ability of the Sky Demon Emperor's son was very powerful. The Sky Demon Emperor's projection was very powerful. Bang! Bang! With two fierce collisions, Linfeng and Gongziyu's attacks collided with the attack of the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was able to block Linfeng and Gongziyu's attacks. Oomph! Linfeng and Gongziyu couldn't help but snort coldly. The two of them condensed a new attack. But Linfeng brought out 4 heavenly fires. Black Flame God Incinerating Fire, Purple Flame Core Fire, Golden Dragon Divine Flame, and Netherworld Fire. The 4 heavenly fires were fused together by Linfeng and formed a huge fireball. Then Linfeng threw the fireball. Boom! There was a loud explosion. Linfeng's sky-burning anger had condensed a ball of fire. The explosion contained a destructive strength which destroyed the Tian-level beast's illusion. Gongziyu and Linfeng cooperated quite well. When Linfeng broke the attack of the Sky Demon Emperor's son, Gongziyu took advantage of this opportunity to quickly rush in front of the Sky Demon Emperor's son. He used Devil Emperor's Immortal Shattering Slash and swept towards the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The Sky Demon Emperor's son's face suddenly changed. It was too late for him to dodge, so he could only take this attack head-on. But it was unrealistic to condense a powerful attack to block Gongziyu's attack. So the Sky Demon Emperor's son hurriedly blocked Gongziyu's attack. When the two attacks collided, the divine ability that the Sky Demon Emperor's son condensed in a hurry was instantly broken by Gongziyu's attack. Then he was directly sent flying by Gongziyu. His face couldn't help but turn red, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. However, the Sky Demon Emperor's son swallowed the blood that was about to spurt out. He quickly retreated, putting some distance between himself and Linfeng and Gongziyu. The face of the Sky Demon Emperor's son had warped. "Since I was born, I've never been injured. Today, you two lowly existences actually caused me to be injured. I'll definitely tear you into pieces." Linfeng curled his lips and said, "This prince, why are you so shameless? This era is no longer the era of the Heavenly Demon Emperor. Are you still living in a dream? Moreover, You keep saying that others are despicable. I think you are the most despicable one. The heavenly demon emperor can only watch the door of my family. You don't even have the qualifications to watch the door of my family. Lin Feng's words were not false. Lin Feng didn't know much about the Undying family. But when it came to the sovereign clans, Lin Feng understood it all too well. The clan's ancestors were too terrifying. The first ancestor was an existence that predated Pangu and Yuhua. Lin Feng suspected that the first ancestor of the sovereign clans was an existence from the same era as Hongming, Taoist Luya, Taoist Hongjun, and Forefather Chaos. If that was the case, then that would be terrifying. The sovereign clans were far more terrifying than one could imagine. Later on, the sovereign clans had given birth to many terrifying existences. The former Lord of the Gods, there was also a saying called the King of the Gods, but it actually referred to a single person. The first expert of the post-Khanate life form era to ascend to immortality, he was the one who divided the realms of Great Emperor and above. The heaven-devouring Demon Emperor was a near-invincible existence. Although he called himself the Demon Emperor, he'd long since possessed the strength of a demon lord. A terrifying existence had appeared in the Primeval era as well. He'd once shattered the crystal walls of the Undying realm with a single punch. This terrifying existence was the master of the primeval dragonesque elephant, the dragonesque elephant who'd invented the primeval dragonesque elephant tactics. Every few years, a stunning figure would appear in the sovereign clans. Therefore, the strength of the sovereign clans wasn't something a mere celestial monster imperial clan could compare to. The celestial monster emperor had been strong in his time, but what did he amount to in comparison to the sovereign clan's glorious history? Therefore, Lin Feng wasn't boasting, but in the eyes of the celestial monster emperor's son, Lin Feng was purposely humiliating his father and his son. This infuriated the celestial monster emperor's son. Today, I'll show you the power of the imperial bloodline of the heavenly monster clans. The celestial monster emperor's son declared frostily. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. This guy wants to tap into the power of his bloodline. Lin Feng frowned. The celestial beast imperial blood contained the strength of the celestial beast emperor's blood. It was terrifying. Only cultivators who'd awakened their bloodlines could tap into the power of their bloodlines. Without awakening their bloodlines, they couldn't tap into the power slumbering in their bloodlines. Lin Feng had two bloodlines. The divine blood of immortality, the sovereign bloodline. Both of them contained the powerful bloodline power of their ancestors. But the key point was, Lin Feng hadn't awakened his bloodlines. First, he had to find the ancestral grounds of his clan. Lin Feng suspected that he was related to the Undying clan. Or rather, his ancestors were related to the Undying clan. If he wanted to awaken the divine blood of immortality, he would have to go to the Undying clan. As for Lin Feng's ancestral bloodline of the sovereign clan, if he wanted to awaken it, he would have to rescue his mother who was being suppressed. Then, he would have to find out where the ancestral grounds of the sovereign clan were from his mother. Therefore, Lin Feng couldn't awaken his two bloodlines at this stage. If Lin Feng were to awaken his bloodlines, his cultivation base would increase by dozens or even hundreds of times. He would be able to kill the celestial monster emperor's son instantly. I'll hold him back. You find a chance to kill him in one strike. Gongziyu said telepathically. Lin Feng nodded. Boom! At this time, a terrifying aura erupted from Gongziyu's body. Gongziyu had also awakened his bloodline power. Gongziyu had also awakened his bloodline. After awakening his bloodline power, Gongziyu's cultivation base rose steadily. He was many times stronger than before. 10,000 demon immortal fist. Gongziyu, who had awakened his bloodline power, shouted coldly. Behind him, numerous demonic figures appeared. They were the heroic spirits of Gongziyu's ancestor. Now, they were all manifesting. Gongziyu seemed to have transformed into an invincible demon lord from the primordial era. He looked down at the world from the corner of his eyes. How can a mere demon emperor's bloodline compare to my father's demon immortal bloodline? The celestial monster emperor's son showed a disdainful expression. He didn't care about Gongziyu's bloodline. Endless demonic chi permeated the air. Gongziyu stepped forward. His body was surrounded by the power of the demon immortal. A pair of huge wings even appeared on his back. Those were the wings of the demon immortal. The pair of wings flapped lightly. Chapter 2369. The heavenly demon emperor's son's immortal fey wings were truly powerful. It was probably an ability he'd gained from awakening his ancestral bloodline. The immortal fey wings vibrated slightly in the air. All of a sudden, waves of destructive energy rippled out. Immediately after, waves of terrifying power erupted. They blasted toward Gongziyu. Gongziyu's 10,000 demon immortal fist was extremely powerful. It was also a powerful ability he'd gained after awakening his bloodline power. Bang! The attacks of the two sides immediately collided. In this clash, the heavenly demon emperor's son gained the upper hand over Gongziyu. Just as the heavenly demon emperor's son had said, his immortal fey bloodline was much stronger than Gongziyu's demon emperor bloodline. Therefore, Gongziyu was no match for him in terms of bloodline. I told you your demon emperor bloodline was pitifully weak. Now, you can die. The heavenly demon emperor's son looked contemptuously at Gongziyu. It was a disdain that came from his bones. His immortal fey wings flapped gently in the air. Swoosh, swoosh. Two beams of cold light shot out like two attacks from peerless divine weapons. They tore through the void. They shattered heaven and earth. Lin Feng had the impression that his heart was pounding when he saw that attack. The heavenly demon emperor's immortal fey bloodline was indeed powerful. Immortal fey, immortal fey. The power of the bloodline has indeed suppressed me, but in a battle between cultivators, the power of the bloodline isn't the foundation of the battle. In my opinion, the power of the bloodline only has a supporting effect, and the true decisive power is the power of the will. Facing the heavenly demon emperor's son's terrifying attack, Gongziyu didn't retreat. His bloodline power was rapidly declining. Lin Feng was shocked. What was Gongziyu trying to do? He'd let his bloodline power fall silent. How was he going to fight the heavenly demon emperor's son? I have a thought in my heart, to destroy my own devil sovereign bloodline, to reconstruct my own bloodline. Gongziyu muttered to himself as he walked forward. His willpower became more and more condensed, and the space around Gongziyu began to distort. Is that domineering aura? Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. Gongziyu's willpower was too strong. The aura his willpower emitted was very similar to Haki. Domineering aura was formed from many aspects. It was closely related to willpower. But soon, Lin Feng realized that something was wrong. The aura emanating from Gongziyu's body was indeed domineering, but it was not true domineering. It was the embryonic form of domineering aura. However, even if it wasn't truly domineering, it was still terrifying enough, far surpassing force. He could already display a part of his domineering aura. Gongziyu was truly a stunning figure. Through his own efforts, he was actually able to condense his own domineering aura. No wonder Gongziyu wanted to destroy his father's devil sovereign bloodline and reconstruct his own. Perhaps Gongziyu believed that he could create an even more powerful bloodline. Bam! Gongziyu's embryonic form of domineering aura collided with the heavenly demon emperor's son's attack. Both attacks were annihilated. At this moment, Lin Feng had already rushed forward. He also displayed his own domineering aura, enveloping the heavenly demon emperor's son. Lin Feng was displaying epical domineering aura. At his current stage, he wouldn't suffer a backlash from epical domineering aura, so he could use it without worry. Oh? Gongziyu was shocked when he sensed the might of epical domineering aura. He had already condensed the embryonic form of domineering aura, so he was very familiar with its power. When he sensed Lin Feng's aura, he knew that it was the power of domineering aura. After the heavenly demon emperor's son was intimidated by Lin Feng's domineering aura, his combat strength was greatly suppressed. Lin Feng, on the other hand, used the true dragon seal, a powerful mystique. A true dragon roared into the sky. Its roar shook the mountains and rivers, and it transformed into a seal. It then charged towards the heavenly demon emperor's son. Great demonic fist. At the same time, Gongziyu attacked, punching towards the heavenly demon emperor's son. The great demonic fist he used was extremely powerful. A bright moon floated above Gongzi Yu's fist. That bright moon was formed by the great Yin. It gathered the essence of heaven and earth to form this peerless punch. You want to kill me? You're still far from it. The heavenly demon emperor's son shouted coldly. Lin Feng's epical domineering aura enveloped him, but it couldn't restrict his movements. After all, the heavenly demon emperor's son was just too strong. Therefore, the epical domineering aura could only suppress him, not suppress him. Monster, immortal, god, slaying, art. At this moment, the son of the sky demon emperor let out a deep and cold voice. He condensed a terrifying attack. A monster immortal's origin soul descended from the sky, hurtling towards Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu. Damn, that's fine. Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu couldn't help but cry out in frustration. The heavenly demon emperor's son's methods had truly exceeded their expectations. The monster immortal's origin soul was terrifying. After a brief moment of shock, Gongzi Yu charged at the origin soul. Dense demonic runes surged out of his body. As they covered his entire body, Gongzi Yu's aura became increasingly unfathomable. Bang! The monster immortal's attack collided with Gongzi Yu's. Crack, crack. After receiving this blow, Gongzi Yu's arm was actually broken. It could be seen how terrifying this blow was. Originally, the attack had been aimed at both Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu, but Gongzi Yu had taken it all by himself. Lin Feng, on the other hand, charged at the heavenly demon emperor's son. He and Gongzi Yu had a clear division of labor. One was responsible for keeping the heavenly demon emperor's son busy, while the other was responsible for attacking him. Gongzi Yu was responsible for keeping the heavenly demon emperor's son busy, while Lin Feng was responsible for attacking. You're courting death. When the heavenly demon emperor's son saw Lin Feng charging at him, his face filled with contempt and disdain. This was a kind of disdain that was emitted from his bones. Whoosh, whoosh. A pair of monster immortal wings on the heavenly demon emperor's son's back swept towards Lin Feng. The wings were so terrifyingly powerful that they tore through the void in an instant. They arrived in front of Lin Feng. If Lin Feng's body was hit, he would have been dismembered on the spot. The heavenly demon emperor's son's lips curved into a cold smile. It was as if he could already see Lin Feng's tragic death. But just as Lin Feng was about to be dismembered, Lin Feng disappeared without a trace. The heaven patching art. The heavenly demon emperor's son's face fell. By the time he recovered, Lin Feng was already behind him. Using the dragon elephant arm, he punched at the heavenly demon emperor's son. The heavenly demon emperor's son had no way of dodging this attack. He didn't know the heaven patching art, so he couldn't block Lin Feng's attack in time. Thus, Lin Feng's punch landed on the heavenly demon emperor's son's body. Bang! Chapter 2370. The sky demon emperor's son screamed. He was furious. When had he ever suffered such a serious injury before? Now that he had suffered such an injury, he felt endless humiliation. Kill him! Lin Feng roared and charged at the sky demon emperor's son. In order to prevent him from escaping, Lin Feng hurriedly used runes to seal the surrounding area, ensuring that the sky demon emperor's son could not escape. At the same time, Gongzi Yu and Lin Feng also charged at the sky demon emperor's son. Kill him while he's sick. This was the best opportunity to kill the sky demon emperor's son. Thinking that he would soon be able to refine the 8th heavenly flame, the black flame god-devouring flame, Shiwen couldn't help but feel excited. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel excited. Gongzi Yu's severed arm emitted a powerful demonic light. His severed arm quickly healed. Shiwen didn't know what method Shiwen had used to heal his injury so quickly. Of course, there was still a gap when compared to Lin Feng's immortal divine body. However, if he didn't compare it to the immortal divine body, his recovery speed was still quite good. Gongzi Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light, filled with endless killing intent. Shiwen didn't know what this guy wanted from the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Gongzi Yu's killing intent towards the Sky Demon Emperor's son was even stronger than Lin Feng's. Seeing Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu charging at him, the Sky Demon Emperor's son's face darkened. He wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu into pieces. However, the Sky Demon Emperor's son also knew that he was seriously injured. Facing Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu's joint attack, defeat was inevitable. Therefore, the Sky Demon Emperor's son wanted to leave. Seeing the dense runes in the void, the Sky Demon Emperor's son knew that it wouldn't be easy for him to leave. However, the Sky Demon Emperor's son had many treasures on him. His right hand flashed. A boundary breaker talisman appeared in his hand. The value of the boundary breaking talisman was extremely high. Moreover, the boundary breaking talisman was extremely rare and powerful. After seeing the Sky Demon King's son use the break boundary talisman, Lin Feng's face suddenly changed. Lin Feng, Gongzi Yu, just you wait. Once I recover, this young master will definitely grind your bones to dust. The Sky Demon Emperor's son looked at Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu with a venomous gaze. Then, he crushed the World Breaker talisman. Whoosh! With a flash of light, he disappeared without a trace. He ran away. All my efforts were for naught. Damn it! Lin Feng's face was extremely gloomy. He had worked so hard to kill the Sky Demon Emperor's son and obtain the black flame god-devouring fire that he had always dreamed of. However, in the end, the Sky Demon Emperor's son had escaped. Lin Feng was extremely depressed. I also have a boundary-breaking talisman here. Moreover, I've already locked onto the Sky Demon Emperor's son's aura. He won't be able to escape, Gongzi Yu said. Then, he took out a boundary-breaking talisman as well. Seeing the boundary-breaking talisman in Gongzi Yu's hand, Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. Whoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu disappeared without a trace. The Sky Demon Emperor's son appeared in a forest 100 miles away. He hurriedly consumed a dozen healing pills. His face was contorted together. The injury this time was a big blow to the son of the Sky Demon Emperor, causing him to become somewhat crazy. Lin Feng, Gongzi Yu, I'll eat your flesh raw. The Sky Demon Emperor's son roared furiously. With a palm strike, he shattered a 10,000-meter-tall mountain not far away. At this time, Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu also rushed out of the void. TSK, I'm afraid you won't have that chance. Today is the day you die, Lin Feng said with a sneer and charged towards the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Sky Demon Emperor's son, today is the day you die. Gongzi Yu's voice was indifferent. He also charged towards the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The combination of Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu was extremely powerful. When the Sky Demon Emperor's son saw Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu appear, his face became extremely ugly. He originally thought that he could escape from the two of them with the boundary-breaking talisman, but he didn't expect Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu would chase after him. However, the Sky Demon Emperor's son only had one boundary-breaking talisman. He had already used it earlier. So now, the Sky Demon Emperor's son didn't have the boundary-breaking talisman. He could only rely on his own speed to escape. However, the Sky Demon Emperor's son's current situation wasn't ideal. His body had suffered serious injuries. Naturally, his speed was greatly affected. Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu chased after him. Many people were alarmed. Isn't that the Sky Demon Emperor's son? That guy looks down on everyone wherever he goes. He's so high and mighty. Now, he's actually injured. That's Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu, right? It seems that Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu joined forces to injure the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Could it be that they have a grudge against each other? I'm not sure, but I heard that Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu don't get along well. I didn't expect the two of them to join forces. There are no eternal enemies in this world, and there are no eternal friends. There are only eternal benefits. The Sky Demon Emperor's son's injuries are too serious. I think he's doomed this time. Many people couldn't help but discuss. Everyone, if anyone can help me, I'll be sure to thank you. The Sky Demon Emperor's son shouted, wanting to ask the surrounding cultivators for help. Help my ass. Many cultivators couldn't help but roll their eyes, looking at the Sky Demon Emperor's son with disdain. Now that he's in danger, he's thinking about us. What about before? Did he even care about us? Sky Demon Emperor's son, you'll definitely die today. Lin Feng sneered. Hand over your life, Sky Demon Emperor's son. Gongzi Yu's expression was indifferent. Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu caught up to the Sky Demon Emperor's son and attacked him fiercely. The Sky Demon Emperor's son kept vomiting blood. His injuries worsened. The Sky Demon Emperor's son is really going to die. After seeing this scene, many people exclaimed in surprise. Lin Feng grabbed the Sky Demon Emperor's son's left arm and tore it apart. A ripping sound could be heard. The Sky Demon Emperor's son's arm was torn off by Lin Feng. Die! Gong Ziyu punched at the Sky Demon Emperor's son. The Sky Demon Emperor's son no longer had the strength to resist. He was about to be killed by the two. Suddenly, a cosmos sac flew out of the void. The cosmos sac opened abruptly. Then, it released a powerful suction force. The Sky Demon Emperor's son was swallowed by the cosmos sac. After devouring the Sky Demon Emperor's son, that Shinkuan pouch quickly disappeared into the void without a trace. F***CK. Which bastard is this? He's actually trying to play the Oriole behind the mantis stalking the cicada. Lin Feng couldn't help but curse loudly. Chase! Gong Ziyu shouted. Chapter 2371. Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu quickly chased after the cultivator who had taken the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son. What made them extremely depressed was that the aura of the cultivator was gradually dissipating. After an hour, he had completely disappeared without a trace. He ran away. Lin Feng could not help but frown. Gong Ziyu nodded with a gloomy expression. Damn it! Which bastard is that? We went through so much trouble to injure the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son. We were just about to kill him, but someone snatched the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son away. This is so infuriating. Gong Ziyu cursed like a madman. No matter who it was, they would be very depressed if they encountered such a situation. Lin Feng was also very depressed. He said, although the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son has been taken away by that person, I've already captured his aura. Since he's participating in the prodigy ranking, I'm sure he wants to enter the 9 States Paradise. Since he wants to enter the 9 States Paradise, he'll have to participate in the prodigy ranking competition. As long as he appears, I'll be able to find him and kill him. The Heavenly Demon Emperor's son will be ours in the end. Gong Ziyu's eyes flashed with a cold light as he said, then I'll wait until the Heaven's Pride ranking competition to kill that guy. When I see that guy, I'll tear him into pieces. Gong Ziyu's killing intent was extremely strong. Lin Feng guessed that the item on the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son must be very important to Gong Ziyu. Otherwise, Gong Ziyu would not be so flustered and exasperated right now. Lin Feng said, I plan to look around the 5th stage. What do you plan to do? I'm going to the Prodigy Tower. Once I'm there, I'll adjust my condition. Gong Ziyu said, all right, we'll meet again after the Prodigy Tower. Lin Feng said. Gong Ziyu nodded. Lin Feng soared into the sky and flew off into the distance, while Gong Ziyu flew towards the heaven's favorite pagoda. Lin Feng continued to search for various cave abodes or natural treasures in the 5th heaven's proud son of heaven dojo. He still had a lot of dragon chi on him, which he could use. This was because many of the caves in the heaven's chosen dojo were quite special. One would need to spend a lot of dragon chi to enter them. Many of the heaven's chosen dojo's natural treasures were also protected by powerful restrictions. If one wanted to break those restrictions, they would need to expend dragon chi. Therefore, when many people discovered some precious heavenly treasures, heavenly paradises, and other places, their dragon chi was almost depleted, and they could only look at the treasures and lament their inadequacy. Lin Feng still had a lot of dragon chi in his body. He kept collecting all kinds of treasures in the 5th level of the Prodigy Dao Field. Many people had their eyes on Lin Feng, and some even had thoughts of killing Lin Feng. However, some of their companions recognized Lin Feng's identity, so they quickly stopped their companions. Those cultivators told their companions about Lin Feng's identity. Those cultivators who wanted to kill Lin Feng were almost scared to death. Lin Feng was now in the limelight. First, he killed Long Wansong, then he killed Sun Aoxian. Later, he joined forces with Gong Ziyu and almost killed the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Many people included Lin Feng in the list of supreme prodigies. Therefore, very few people dared to provoke Lin Feng now. Lin Feng had gained a lot in the 5th level of the Heaven's Chosen Dojo. All kinds of treasures were piled up like mountains. Lin Feng even found an armory in one of the cave abodes. There were piles of magical equipment in the arsenal. Those treasures were at least divine artifacts. There were even many divine artifacts. There were more than 50,000 treasures in the armory, which made Lin Feng very excited. More than 50,000 deity-level magic treasures were enough to equip an elite army. When Lin Feng's dragon chi was almost exhausted, he decided to head to the Heaven's Chosen Pagoda. Cultivators who wanted to participate in the Heaven's Chosen Pagoda had to go there. Although the Heaven's Chosen Pagoda hadn't started yet, they could go to the Heaven's Chosen Pagoda in advance to recuperate and adjust their condition. Lin Feng flew in the direction of the Heaven's Chosen Pagoda. When he passed by a mountain range, he found that there was a big battle going on. More than 30 cultivators were attacking more than 10 cultivators. Due to the small number of besieged cultivators, 3 of them were quickly killed. Lin Feng didn't want to meddle in other people's business, but he saw Chu Yashuan in the crowd. Chu Yashuan had asked a disciple to pass a message to get to know him. Lin Feng naturally knew that Chu Yashuan was interested in him and wanted to develop a relationship with him. Chu Yashuan was born beautiful and gentle. Who wouldn't be moved by such a beauty? However, Lin Feng tactfully rejected the idea of getting to know Chu Yashuan better. Lin Feng didn't want to provoke such an obedient female disciple. An obedient girl like Chu Yashuan should find a man who loves her wholeheartedly. She shouldn't find a man who was flirtatious. Lin Feng's personality wouldn't change. He liked beautiful women. He liked them in the past, now, and in the future. Therefore, he wasn't suitable for Chu Yashuan. This was also why Lin Feng didn't provoke Chu Yashuan. Since he wasn't suitable for her, he didn't want to hurt Chu Yashuan. After seeing Chu Yashuan, Lin Feng knew that the disciples who were being attacked were most likely disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect. Because there weren't many of them, 3 of them died in a short time. Lin Feng's expression was very ugly. How could he do nothing when his fellow disciples were killed? He quickly flew towards the scene of the battle. At this moment, Chu Yashuan and the others didn't notice Lin Feng. They tried to break out of the encirclement, but failed after many attempts. Not only did they have more people, but they were also very powerful. The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect were in despair. But now, there was nothing they could do. It's a pity to kill such a beautiful woman. However, now is not the time to be gentle. You have to die. A fierce-looking cultivator sneered as he looked at Chu Yashuan. His weapon was a blood-red broadsword. He slashed at Chu Yashuan again and again. Chu Yashuan's weapon was a short sword. After a few clashes, Chu Yashuan couldn't hold on any longer. The short sword in her hand was sent flying by the fierce-looking cultivator. Die! The fierce-looking cultivator sneered and slashed at Chu Yashuan. This attack was unavoidable. Chu Yashuan thought that she was going to die and closed her eyes in fear. However, after a while, Chu Yashuan realized that the sword didn't hit her. Chu Yashuan was very confused. She opened her eyes and saw that the man who had been in her dreams had appeared in front of her and grabbed the blood-red sword. Chapter 2372. F***CK. Kid. Who are you? How dare you meddle in our business? Do you have a death wish? The cultivator roared in anger when he saw Lin Feng grab his saber. He glared at Lin Feng viciously. Lin Feng looked indifferent. He looked at the ugly and ferocious cultivator coldly. He raised his other hand, and a sword chi emerged from his fingers. Poof! Blood splattered everywhere as the cultivator's head flew into the air. He died on the spot. Are you all right? Lin Feng asked Chu Yashuan. Chu Yashuan blushed as she looked at Lin Feng and shook her head. Her voice was soft and gentle. Anyone who heard her voice would feel their bones go soft. She said, I'm fine. Senior brother, don't be tempted. It's Senior Brother Lin. The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect were excited when they saw Lin Feng. They didn't know how strong Lin Feng was, but they knew that these people were strong. But in front of Lin Feng, he was still far from being that strong. You're courting death. When the 4 or 5 cultivators saw Lin Feng kill the fierce-looking cultivator, they shouted furiously and threw themselves at Lin Feng. They looked ferocious and murderous. Lin Feng looked at those cultivators indifferently. He raised his right hand and waved it casually. A beam of sword chi flew out. Poof, poof, poof. Following that, The sound of something being torn apart could be heard. The cultivators were killed one by one. 5 or 6 cultivators who had attacked Lin Feng weren't weak, but they couldn't even withstand a single attack from Lin Feng. Their souls had already left the 9 heavens. Senior brother Lin is amazing. The disciples of the reincarnation immortal sect shouted excitedly. The faces of the other group of cultivators turned ugly. He's Lin Feng, someone suddenly shouted. Some of the cultivators recognized Lin Feng and were scared out of their wits. Not many people had seen Lin Feng before. However, many of them had heard of Lin Feng. What? He's Lin Feng? The rest of the cultivators were shocked. Let's go. The leader of the cultivators waved his hand and said. They wanted to leave as soon as possible. They were afraid of Lin Feng's cultivation. Did I say you can leave? Lin Feng looked at the cultivators who wanted to leave. His eyes were cold and murderous. What? You want us to stay? We're from the Undying Immortal Sect, one of the 10 great immortal sections. Why don't we each take a step back? The leading cultivator said in a deep voice. The Immortal Sect? Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. Lin Feng had never thought that these people were from the Immortal Celestial Sect. Lin Feng ignored the cultivator from the Immortal Celestial Sect and looked at Chu Yashuan. What's going on? Why are these people from the Undying Immortal Sect attacking you? We got a batch of Earth Source Immortal Crystals, and they found it. They want to kill us and steal it. Chu Yashuan said. Lin Feng was shocked when he heard the words Earth Source Immortal Crystals. Earth Source Immortal Crystals were a type of origin crystal, but they were extremely rare. An Earth Source Immortal Crystal could be exchanged for at least 100,000 ordinary origin crystals. But the key point was that even if you wanted to exchange, no one would exchange with you. This was because Earth Source Immortal Crystals were too rare. Such an origin crystal could improve one's cultivation by leaps and bounds. If one obtained such a treasure, who would want to exchange it for it? No one would trade with an Earth Source Immortal Crystal unless they were in urgent need of ordinary origin crystals. The market price was 100,000 ordinary origin crystals for an Earth Source Immortal Crystal. However, if one really wanted to trade, 400,000 to 500,000 ordinary origin crystals for an Earth Source Immortal Crystal was already a good deal. It was no wonder the cultivators from the Immortal Sect wanted to kill Chu Yashuan and the rest. They were after the Earth Source Immortal Crystals. A treasure like the Earth Source Immortal Crystal was enough to make many people go crazy. The leading cultivator of the Immortal Sect said, We didn't get the Earth Source Immortal Crystal, and we also lost a lot of people on our side. Now, let's each take a step back, and the sea and sky will be wide open. Furthermore, we have to rush to meet up with the core disciples of the Immortal Sect. They are waiting for us not far away. Are you threatening me? Lin Feng sneered. How could he not hear the threat in the cultivator's words? It's not a threat. I'm just speaking the truth. You're a smart person. You should know what to do. The leader of the cultivators from the Immortal Sect said. Lin Feng sneered. You want to kill my Immortal Sect's disciples for the treasure? If I didn't appear here, wouldn't all of my disciples be killed by you? Even now, you still dare to threaten me. You really don't know what death is. I'll kill all of you today. Let's see what the Immortal Sect can do to me. With that, Lin Feng stepped out and walked towards the cultivators from the Immortal Sect. At this moment, a cold snort came from afar. 3 men walked over. They were 3 extremely young men. Each of them was unfathomable. Senior brother Yuan is here. Seeing the newcomers, the group of disciples from the Immortal Sect became excited. Of the 3 cultivators, the one on the left was called Zhang Imo. The one on the right was called Li Xiao. These 2 were the top experts of the Immortal Sect's younger generation. The one in the middle had an even bigger background. He was called Yuan Xia. Even the cultivators from the Immortal Sect didn't know much about Yuan Xia's background. However, they vaguely heard that a few of the top geniuses with the surname Yuan were related to the fleeting Immortal clan. Of course, they weren't sure if they were related. However, they knew how terrifying Yuan Xia was. Once, Yuan Xia's arm was chopped off, but he was able to regrow it. It was like a legend. Many people were shocked. After seeing the 3, Lin Feng couldn't help but stop and look at them with narrowed eyes. You're Lin Feng? Yuan Xia looked at Lin Feng and asked indifferently. Yes, Lin Feng replied indifferently. I heard that you have the immortal body. Is the rumor true? Yuan Xia looked at Lin Feng with narrowed eyes. Lin Feng had shown the ability of the immortal body before, so it wasn't a secret that he had the immortal body. Lin Feng said, Yes, I have the immortal body. However, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? In this world, only people from one clan can have the immortal body. If anyone outside of this clan has the immortal body, then only death awaits them. I'll give you a chance now. Cripple your own bloodline or die. Choose one of the two. Yuan Xia looked down at Lin Feng and said in a tone that brooked no argument. Chapter 2373. Lin Feng suddenly thought of those people who called this person Brother Yuan. This person once again threatened him. Lin Feng remembered that the Undying clan's surname was Yuan. Could this person be from the Undying clan? You're from the Undying clan? Yes, he asked calmly. Even the people from the Undying Immortal sect looked at Yuan Xia, although they also heard that the Undying Immortal sect's disciples with the surname Yuan were related to the Undying clan. But no one could confirm whether these people were from the Undying clan or not. Right now, they also wanted to see how Yuan Xia would answer. You know quite a lot. Yuan Xia's expression was indifferent as he said, The Undying bloodline is a clan's bloodline. Logically speaking, it is impossible for people outside the Undying clan to have the Undying bloodline, but you have it. It seems like your ancestor must have been expelled by the Undying clan. You people already don't have the qualifications to have the Undying bloodline. The reason why I gave you a choice to live is because of this trace of fate. Otherwise, you would have already died thousands of times. All right, I don't want to waste words with you. Although Yuan Xia's words were short, Lin Feng already obtained a lot of useful information from his words. The first information was that Yuan Xia was indeed from the Undying clan. The second information was that his ancestor was expelled by the Undying clan and no longer had the qualifications to have the Undying bloodline. An ancient clan like the Undying clan attached great importance to the inheritance of the bloodline. The clansmen who had the Undying bloodline basically lived in the ancestral land. Therefore, this was also why Yuan Xia dared to confirm that Lin Feng was the descendant of the expelled clansmen. In the long history of the Undying clan, there were some people who were expelled due to various reasons. Most of the people who were expelled had extremely miserable fates. In order to preserve the bloodline, the Undying clan would not spread their branches and leaves outside, breaking away from the Undying clan's control. Therefore, they would kill the expelled clansmen. But there were also some people who escaped. These people who escaped gave birth to children, although the bloodline was getting worse with each generation. But in the long years, occasionally, someone would awaken the Undying bloodline. For example, in the Lin clan, Lin Feng's father Lin Beitian awakened the Undying divine body. Lin Feng inherited his father's bloodline. He also awakened the Undying divine body. In fact, no one in the Undying clan had the Undying bloodline. Before this, the Lin family was just a small family that lived in a remote corner of the world. It was a small family that almost no one paid attention to, until Lin's father awakened the Undying bloodline. But in this world, no one remembered Undying clan's ancestor. Perhaps the Undying clan's Yuan Qi. His father had died in battle for the family when he was young. Due to his lack of talent, he had been abandoned by the family. He hadn't even awakened his Undying bloodline and was abandoned by the family. His mother had died of a serious illness. Because his mother was only the daughter of a small family, she didn't even have the right to be buried in the ancestral grave. Yuan Qi knelt for 3 days and 3 nights, hoping to bury his mother and father together, but he was mercilessly driven away. No one would care about an abandoned child, especially a huge power like the Undying clan. There were countless geniuses. Who would care about a piece of trash that couldn't even awaken the Undying bloodline? Yuan Qi carried his mother's corpse and left. At that time, the young, savage, and Yuan Qi depended on each other for survival and left together with Yuan Qi. Later, Yuan Qi abandoned his surname and changed his name to Lin Qi. This was the origin of the Lin family. Lin Qi's achievements in immortal ancient era were something that would never be erased. Even if the people of the future knew what happened back then, they would still worship him and worship him. However, With the passage of countless years, those things might have long been buried by history. This lineage had experienced great ups and downs, and it was indeed not easy for it to be passed down to this day. And now, Lin Feng could basically conclude that their bloodline was destined to not walk together with the Undying clan. Countless years had passed, and it was unknown how many generations had passed. The connection between bloodlines had long since become as thin as paper. In the secular world, there was a saying that one could not pass down the power to 5 generations. This meant that after passing down the power to 5 generations, these people could no longer be considered relatives. Passing down the power to 5 generations could no longer be considered relatives, let alone now who knew how many generations it had passed down? What kind of relationship was there? They were complete strangers. If it was traced back to the ancestors, there might even be hatred. Therefore, the Undying clan naturally would not allow anyone other than the Undying clan to have the Undying bloodline. Undying clan, Undying clan, Undying clan, Lin Feng muttered to himself. His eyes gradually became cold. Although he did not know what happened back then, his bloodline was naturally the one that was expelled. This meant that his bloodline no longer had any relationship with the Undying clan. Both sides met again. There was only hatred. Where is the Undying clan's ancestral land? Tell me, and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, this will be your burial ground. Lin Feng looked at Yuan Xia with an indifferent expression. Since he had already shed all pretenses with the Undying clan, Lin Feng knew that it was impossible to openly head to the Undying clan to awaken the Undying bloodline. Therefore, Lin Feng wanted to find out the location of the Undying clan. In the future, when he was strong enough, he would go to the Undying clan. As long as he was strong enough, would he be afraid that the Undying clan would not allow him to awaken the bloodline? The Undying clan was strong enough. However, if his strength was terrifying enough, he could use it to threaten the Undying clan. Would the Undying clan take the risk of being heavily injured and fight to the death with him? Lin Feng believed that the Undying clan would not do such a thing. If it was any other peak power, they would compromise. Brat, what did you say? Yuan Xia thought that he had heard wrongly and looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. What? You don't understand human language? Lin Feng said indifferently. Courting death, courting death. You, the descendant of an exiled person, a lowly existence, actually dared to be so impudent in front of this young master. You really don't know life from death. Today, this young master will personally kill you. Yuan Xia's voice was incomparably cold. He walked towards Lin Feng step by step. Yuan Xia's body emitted a terrifying fluctuation. It was the fluctuation of his bloodline. Lin Feng had only awakened the Undying god blood. This was a shallow awakening. Many abilities had not awakened. Chapter 2374. Boom! Yuan Xia made his move and a blood-red seal appeared on his palm. This ability was called Blood Law Heavenly Seal. Once used, its power was boundless. Now that the Blood Law Heavenly Seal had been used by Yuan Xia, the void crumbled wherever the giant hand passed. The tyrannical attack was aimed at Lin Feng. Yuan Xia wanted to kill Lin Feng on the spot. Blood Law Heavenly Seal. I have seen senior brother Yuan use this sacred art before. This is an extremely heaven-defying sacred art. Once it is used, it can simply shatter the sun, moon, and sky, and destroy all living beings in the world. This sacred art is not even a sacred art passed down from our immortal sect. I guess it is very likely related to senior brother Yuan's bloodline. Seeing Yuan Xia use the Blood Law Heavenly Seal, a cultivator of the immortal sect immediately cried out in alarm. With senior brother Yuan Xia taking action, that brat is dead for sure. The rest of the Undying immortal sect cultivators looked at Lin Feng with indifferent expressions. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. They knew Lin Feng's cultivation was extraordinary, but so what? In their opinion, Lin Feng couldn't be compared to Yuan Xia. Yuan Xia was a true peak expert. His cultivation was heaven-defying. True Dragon Seal. Facing Yuan Xia's attack, Lin Feng didn't dare to be careless. He could feel the terror of Yuan Xia's attack, so Lin Feng directly used the True Dragon Seal. Lin Feng obtained the cultivation method of the 5 layers of the True Dragon Seal. Each layer was stronger than the last. Of course, Lin Feng had only cultivated the first layer of the true dragon seal for the time being. Even though it was only the first layer, it had already reached the power of a half-immortal art. It was extremely powerful. A dragon appeared behind Lin Feng, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. The true dragon roared towards the sky, shaking the mountains and rivers. Bang! The two sides collided, and the tyrannical shockwaves cracked the surrounding void. Numerous space-time rifts appeared, swallowing up a large number of plants, trees, and rocks. Soon, the space-time rifts closed again. Lin Feng and Yuan Xia both took 3 steps back. Seeing Lin Feng block Yuan Xia's attack, the cultivators of the Immortal sect were clearly surprised. On the other hand, the disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect were confident in Lin Feng. They had never seen Lin Feng suffer a loss before. So what if they were from the Undying clan? The Undying clan could only kneel and beg in front of senior brother Lin. In the hearts of the disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect, Lin Feng was almost invincible. No one could defeat Lin Feng. If someone said that Lin Feng could win first place in this year's Prodigy ranking battle, they would be shocked. The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect did not doubt him at all. Is this all you've got after awakening your undying bloodline? I haven't even awakened my undying bloodline in the ancestral land, and you can't even suppress me. After I awaken my undying bloodline, I can crush you with one hand. How dare a piece of trash like you jump around in front of me? Lin Feng did not change his arrogance and looked at Yuan Xia with disdain. The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect were used to it, because this was Lin Feng's personality. He had always been domineering. The disciples of the Immortal sect were shocked beyond words. Wasn't this guy too arrogant? He actually dared to call Yuan Xia a piece of trash. How could Yuan Xia not be angry? As expected, Yuan Xia's face darkened, and his eyes flashed with killing intent. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, "Lowly bastard. How dare you boast shamelessly in front of me? Who gave you the courage? Today, I'll let you know the terror of the undying bloodline." After saying that, Yuan Xia's body actually emitted a rumbling sound. It was like a surging river, sweeping through heaven and earth. A terrifying power surged within Yuan Xia's body. Yuan Xia's aura became more and more terrifying. Yuan Xia was awakening the power slumbering in his bloodline. The undying divine bloodline was the most ancient bloodline. The power of the ancestors slumbered in the bloodline. However, to awaken this power for one's own use, one had to undergo a deep awakening. Yuan Xia had already undergone a deep awakening, so he could awaken this terrifying power. However, Lin Feng was unable to do so. Undying demon god. Yuan Xia's low voice resounded through heaven and earth. His hands formed a series of hand seals, and an endless black mist rolled. An ancient demon god stepped out of the black mist. This demon god seemed to have crossed the river of time from the absolute beginning era. Countless runes swirled around his body. These runes caused the surrounding space to distort. This divine ability was obtained when Yuan Xia's bloodline awakened. He could summon the undying primordial spirit left behind by the undying demon god to fight against his enemies. It was incomparably powerful. Yuan Xia had experienced many life and death battles. In the end, he'd used this divine ability to defeat his opponents and kill them. Now that he was facing off against Lin Feng, Yuan Xia once again used this tyrannical attack. After the undying demon god appeared, he quickly attacked Lin Feng. Demonic light surged through heaven and earth, as if to turn the entire world into a demonic realm. What a terrifying divine ability. Senior brother Yuan is serious. That brat is dead for sure. The disciples of the undying immortal sect roared one after another. Yuan Xia's divine ability had deeply shocked them. The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect couldn't help but pale. This divine ability was so terrifying that it made their souls tremble. Now, the disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect were slightly shaken. They'd originally thought that Yuan Xia wouldn't be a match for Lin Feng, but now they couldn't help but worry for Lin Feng. This was because Yuan Xia's divine ability was truly too powerful. Such a tyrannical divine ability. It made one's heart tremble. Such a huge commotion naturally attracted many spectators. Many people stood in the distance and watched the battle. Isn't that Yuanxia? Rumor has it that he's related to the ancient and mysterious Undying clan. I wonder if it's true or not. I have also heard about it, but whether or not it is related to the Undying clan, perhaps only they themselves know. However, regardless of whether or not it is related to the Undying clan, this Yuanxia's cultivation is incomparably terrifying. It is said that he can regrow a severed arm. This is the ability of the Undying bloodline, right? Yes, it's the ability of the Undying bloodline. That's why this person is so terrifying. Even if he's seriously injured, he can quickly recover. Yuanxia's opponent seems to be Lin Feng, right? It really is Lin Feng. This is going to be a good show. This Lin Feng is also very powerful. Moreover, he's not an arrogant and overbearing person. If he fights with Yuanxia, it'll definitely be a fierce battle. Many cultivators in the surroundings began to discuss spiritedly. At this time, the Undying demon god summoned by Yuanxia had already arrived in front of Lin Feng. The terrifying palm enveloped Lin Feng's body and ruthlessly attacked Lin Feng. Chapter 2375. What Undying demon god? Death is death. Lin Feng sneered. He stepped forward, activated the arm of the dragon and elephant, and punched the original spirit of the Undying demon god. Bang! With a dull sound of collision, Lin Feng's powerful punch collided with the Undying demon god's attack. Lin Feng didn't move at all. The original spirit of the Undying demon god was sent flying by Lin Feng's punch. Lin Feng's arm of the dragon and elephant could destroy a planet with one punch. Naturally, it wouldn't be difficult for him to shatter the original spirit of the Undying demon god. "Break for me!" shouted Lin Feng furiously. He took a step forwards and threw punches at Lin Feng. Bang, bang, bang. 3 consecutive punches were sent out. The 3 violent punches landed on the original spirit of the Undying demon god. The original spirit of the Undying demon god directly exploded. It vanished into thin air. Isn't he too strong? The surrounding cultivators all exclaimed in shock. The original spirit of the Undying demon god was a top-notch move that Yuanxia had learned when his bloodline awakened. It was unbelievable that Lin Feng could break it so easily. How strong was Lin Feng to be able to break Yuanxia's attack so easily? The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect were all excited. As expected of senior brother Lin, his cultivation is too terrifying. The faces of those from the Immortal sect turned ugly. They originally thought that Lin Feng would be suppressed. They didn't expect this result. After breaking the original spirit of the Undying demon god, Lin Feng quickly rushed toward Yuanxia. The arm of the dragon and elephant was activated. The terrifying attack instantly exploded. It could be said that it could destroy heaven and earth. It was a terrifying attack that could destroy a planet. It was obvious how powerful this attack was. Yuanxia's face suddenly changed. He wanted to retreat quickly to avoid Lin Feng's attack, but it was too late. Therefore, he could only wave his fist to block Lin Feng's attack. The 2 sides fiercely collided. Crack, crack. Yuanxia's arm was directly broken by Lin Feng. His entire body flew back several hundred meters. Wow! He spat out mouthfuls of blood in midair. Yuanxia is heavily injured. Many people cried out in surprise. In a battle between experts, if one side was injured, then they wouldn't be far from being killed. Now that Yuanxia was seriously injured, in many people's eyes, Yuanxia was likely to die. But at this time, Yuanxia's body flashed with a bloody light. His injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Yuanxia had the immortal divine body and could quickly recover from his injuries. Many people had heard of the terrifying immortal divine body, but those who had seen it were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. As the saying goes, seeing is believing. There were too many rumors in the world. It was impossible to distinguish between the truth and the lies. Therefore, no one knew if the rumored immortal divine body was really that powerful and could quickly recover from injuries. Now that they saw Yuanxia's injuries recover so quickly, many people were abnormally shocked. The rumors were actually true. The immortal divine body could quickly recover from injuries. No wonder the immortal divine body was so terrifying. This kind of physique was too frightening, especially in a battle between cultivators. After a fierce battle, both sides had suffered extremely serious injuries. Just as they were about to fight to the death, one side suddenly recovered from his injuries. Wouldn't the other side be waiting for death? As expected of the immortal divine body, this ancient physique is really too frightening. This battle won't end so easily. Yuan Xia must have even more terrifying means that he hasn't used yet. Many people whispered. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the two people in the battle, waiting for an even more intense battle to break out. Such a battle naturally attracted the attention of everyone. Lin Feng, since I, Yuan Xia, was born, I have never suffered any injuries. You are the first person to injure me, and now, you will suffer my endless fury. Yuan Xia floated in the air, looking at Lin Feng with a pair of eyes full of hatred. Said Lin Feng indifferently. Keep bragging. A piece of trash like you can only defeat me by bragging? Said Lin Feng indifferently. Puffed. After hearing Lin Feng's words, many people directly burst out laughing. Lin Feng's words were too hurtful. Many people couldn't help but laugh. Even some cultivators from the Immortal Divine sect couldn't help but laugh, but when they thought of their own status, they quickly suppressed their laughter. Yuan Xia was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He looked at Lin Feng with resentment, then said, I will definitely cut off your flesh piece by piece, extract your soul, and burn it with samadhi true fire. You will suffer a fate worse than death. Only then will I be able to resolve the hatred in my heart. Boom, boom, boom. After Yuan Xia finished speaking, his body emitted an even more powerful and frightening aura. The immortal divine body is about to awaken from its slumber. A deep voice unexpectedly came from Yuan Xia's body. That voice was incomparably ancient. When that voice rang out, everyone even felt as if that voice was trying to drag them back to the ancient times hundreds of millions of years ago. The ancestor's dormant power in his bloodline is about to awaken. Some cultivators cried out in shock. Many people were moved. These ancient bloodlines were extremely terrifying, especially when the ancestor's dormant power was awakened. Once it was awakened, it would be even more frightening. Once the ancestor's dormant power was awakened, it would be his final trump card. This method was indeed powerful, but it also consumed a lot of the body's energy. Sometimes, it would even cause harm to the body. However, in order to kill Lin Feng, Yuan Xia didn't hesitate to use it. Even if he suffered a backlash, he still wanted to kill Lin Feng. Yuan Xia, stop. You've only awakened your bloodline for a short period of time. You're still unable to control the sleeping power of your ancestor within your bloodline. If you rashly stimulate the sleeping power of your ancestor within your bloodline, it will cause serious damage to your body. Perhaps your body will collapse before that brat is killed by you. At that moment, an indifferent voice came from afar. Everyone looked into the distance and saw two cultivators walking over step by step. The one who spoke was dressed in green and looked very handsome. Lin Feng didn't recognize him, but he recognized the other person. Lin Feng had seen the other person before. Yuan Yu. Back then, this person occupied a Heaven's Pride peak. Many experts challenged Yuan Yu, but they all failed. In the end, Yuan Yu successfully defended the peak. From this, one could see how terrifying Yuan Yu was. Yuan Ji, Yuan Yu. Many people couldn't help but cry out when they saw the newcomers. These two were too terrifying. They were many times stronger than Yuan Xia. Now that they had come together, didn't that mean Lin Feng was doomed? Chapter 2376. Yuan Yu and Lin Feng were well aware of how terrifying Lin Feng was. Lin Feng didn't know what cultivation level this Yuan Ji had, but Lin Feng discovered that Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu seemed to have an equal relationship. Yuan Xia, on the other hand, had a respectful expression in front of these two people. Lin Feng knew that Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu should have similar cultivation levels. Many top geniuses had come to the prodigy ranking battle. Previously, when the 9 prodigy peaks appeared, many top geniuses didn't appear at all. Now that Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu had come together, it was naturally a very dangerous thing for Lin Feng. These two people's cultivation levels were too tyrannical, and Yuan Xia was eyeing covetously from the side. If these three people from the Undying clan joined forces, they might really have the strength to kill Lin Feng. This was also the reason why the surrounding cultivators felt that Lin Feng was very likely to be killed by the three of them. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and sized up Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu. The two of them were also sizing up Lin Feng. I didn't expect that outside of the Undying clan, there would actually be someone who could awaken the immortal divine body. Your ancestor was an exiled person. My Undying clan has always been decisive in dealing with exiles, leaving no survivors. Back then, my ancestor was lucky enough to escape this calamity, but you won't have such luck. Let's start with you. Your bloodline will officially disappear from this world. Yuan Ji said coldly. His voice was filled with cold killing intent. His eyes that looked at Lin Feng were filled with a cold light. Yuan Ji's personality was domineering, so he wouldn't hide his inner thoughts. After he had the intention to kill Lin Feng, he wouldn't hide it in any way. On the other hand, Yuan Yu was different. This person's sharpness was restrained, and he looked like an ancient well without ripples. It was difficult to tell what he was thinking from his face. Lin Feng said indifferently, "Big clans are really cruel. They kill their clansmen without mercy. This has really broadened my horizons. However, after such a long time, my bloodline has long had nothing to do with the Undying clan. Since there is an irreconcilable conflict between the two sides, today, I would like to experience the strength of the Undying clan's successor." Lin Feng's tone was very calm. He wasn't worried about being surrounded by Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu. With Lin Feng's current cultivation level, he was confident that even if he wasn't an enemy, if he wanted to leave, nobody would be able to stop him. "Let's kill him here." Yuan Ji said. Yuan Yu nodded. Whoosh, whoosh. Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu sighed. Yu quickly sizes. Yuan Xia didn't make a move. He seemed to be extremely confident in Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu. They came from the same clan. It was precisely because of this that Yuan Xia knew how terrifying Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu were. In Yuan Xia's opinion, the two of them didn't even need to work together. Just one of them could easily kill Lin Feng. Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu actually want to work together to deal with Lin Feng. I thought that with their status, they would choose to fight Lin Feng alone. Since they can work together, why do they have to deal with Lin Feng alone? What's more, to deal with someone as powerful as Lin Feng, even if Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu can defeat Lin Feng alone, there's no guarantee that Lin Feng will counterattack before he dies. At that time, they might die together. However, it's different if the two of them work together to deal with Lin Feng. They can take care of each other. It won't be easy for Lin Feng to counterattack. Yeah, I'm afraid Lin Feng will be in danger in this battle. Although he's powerful, Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu are also extremely terrifying. Moreover, there's still Yuan Xia who hasn't made a move yet. Many people began to discuss. They didn't have high hopes for Lin Feng in this battle. The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect also had ugly expressions. They couldn't help but worry for Lin Feng. Chu Yashuan's face was even paler. She looked at Lin Feng worriedly. On paper, the strength of both sides was still too weak, and they couldn't help Lin Feng. Therefore, Chu Yashuan was extremely worried about Lin Feng's safety. Lin Feng looked at Yuan Ji and Yuan Yu indifferently. He began to condense his qi to increase his combat strength. Let's fight then. Who's afraid of who? Lin Feng had experienced countless life and death battles over the years. He was never afraid. It seemed that the two sides were about to fight. Suddenly, the void split open. A fatso riding a little donkey rushed out of the crack in the void. It was Fatso and Brother Donkey. Fatso and Brother Donkey appeared above Yuan Ji. Ahaha, ahaha, ahaha. Little Donkey suddenly let out a strange cry. It raised its hooves and kicked at Yuan Ji. Yuan Ji's expression suddenly darkened. A donkey dared to attack him. This made him feel angry and humiliated. Yuan Ji threw a punch at Little Donkey. Bang! Yuan Ji and Little Donkey collided. Yuan Ji was pushed back by Little Donkey's hooves. Little Donkey was also pushed back a few meters. You're quite capable. You can actually block my attack. Little Donkey suddenly shouted. Damn! Heavenly Donkey Saint? This donkey is too shameless. Many people rolled their eyes. The word saint couldn't be used casually. It had a lot of implications. just like how Great Emperor couldn't be used casually. Very few people dared to call themselves Great Emperors before entering the Great Emperor realm. Perhaps only those evil cultivators who didn't become Great Emperors would give themselves the title of Great Emperor to keep up appearances. Little Donkey dared to call himself Heavenly Donkey Saint. This naturally attracted the disdain of many cultivators. Little Donkey looked askance at the surrounding cultivators and shouted arrogantly, "What? You're not convinced? If you have the guts, fight this saint one-on-one." Little Donkey was able to push UNG back with a single kick. It was clear that its strength wasn't ordinary. The spectating cultivators naturally didn't want to fight Little Donkey for no reason. "We're magnanimous and won't bicker with a donkey," many cultivators said. Little Donkey pursed its lips and ignored them. It looked at Lin Feng and said, "Big Brother Feng, we came just in time." Lin Feng said, "You really came just in time. If we came any later, the fight would have started." Fatso jumped off Little Donkey and said, "These are the people from the Undying clan? TSK. Even this ancient clan has a successor. Looks like all the monsters in this world are about to come into being." The donkey looked at UNG and UNU and shouted arrogantly, "You two dare to bully the big brother of the heavenly donkey holy sovereign? I think you're tired of living. I'll give you a chance to live. Come and kowtow to my big brother Feng and I'll spare you. Otherwise, I'll kick the two of you until the peach blossoms bloom." Chapter 2377. That donkey's too arrogant. He's even more arrogant than humans. He actually made UNG and UNU kneel before Lin Feng and beg for mercy. That donkey is really something else. UNG and UNU are being looked down upon by a donkey. Won't they be angered to death? Many people started discussing the situation, glancing at Little Donkey, UNG, and UNU from time to time. The spectating cultivators were all looking forward to an intense battle between the two sides. Since they were just here to watch the show, they weren't afraid of things getting out of hand. The bigger the matter, the more intense the better. When the time came, it would be best if they fought to the death so that they could watch an exciting battle. UNG and UNU's performance exceeded everyone's expectations. UNU said, "It's rare for a donkey to be able to cultivate. This isn't a place for a battle to the death. We'll wait for you at the Tower of Geniuses." UNU had wanted to join forces with UNG to kill Lin Feng, but she changed her mind. Fatso and Little Donkey's arrival had narrowed the gap between them. Even if they could defeat Lin Feng, Fatso, and Little Donkey, it would be a fierce battle. But they couldn't guarantee that someone wouldn't use underhanded tricks against them. The gains wouldn't make up for the losses. In the Tower of Geniuses, no one dared to use underhanded tricks. UNU and UNG were both extremely confident in their own cultivation levels. Even though it might be troublesome for them to deal with Lin Feng on their own, they were confident in their strength. They were confident that they could easily deal with Lin Feng. That confidence came from their trust in their ancestral blood. Over the years, UNG and UNU had fought countless battles, but the two of them had always been invincible. Lin Feng also had immortal divine blood. But so what? His bloodline hadn't truly awakened. In their eyes, he wasn't much of a threat. If you're scared, just say it. Don't make excuses. Little Donkey was aggressive. UNG sneered. "I'm looking forward to slaughtering you and making you into donkey soup," Little Donkey cursed. "If you have the ability, then fight with this holy venerable right now. See if this holy venerable doesn't kick you to death." UNG didn't stop fighting Little Donkey just because of its provocation. UNG, UNU, and the rest quickly left. When the surrounding cultivators saw that there was no more excitement, they all left one after another. "Collect their corpses," Lin Feng said to the disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal Sect. "Yes, senior brother." A few disciples went forward to collect the corpses of the disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal Sect. Then, the group left as well. At a place where a small stream flowed, the group stopped to rest. Lin Feng looked at Fatso and said, "Are you and Brother Donkey going to participate in the Genius List battle? I heard that the rules of the Prodigy ranking battle have been changed. Summoning pets and mounts is no longer allowed." Little Donkey said, I want to participate myself. From now on, The heavenly donkey Holy Venerable's name will resound throughout the 9 states. Lin Feng said with a smile. It seems like Brother Donkey is very confident about this ranking battle. Little Donkey said proudly. Of course. Don't you know who I am? I'm the wise and mighty heavenly donkey Holy Venerable. Lin Feng nodded. Of course. I wish Brother Donkey good results. Fatso said. Lin Feng, that girl Chu Yashuan keeps staring at you. TSK, it seems like she's attracted to you. Why don't you take her down? Lin Feng looked at Chu Yashuan, and their eyes met. Even though Lin Feng was used to seeing all kinds of goddesses, when he saw Chu Yashuan's face, he couldn't help but be stunned. Chu Yashuan's beauty touched one's soul. It was a kind of beauty that made one's soul tremble. Her eyes were pure, like a celestial lotus that hadn't been tainted by the mortal world. Chu Yashuan saw Lin Feng looking at her, and her face turned red. She lowered her head shyly. What do you think? Top quality, right? Fatso said with a smile. Lin Feng looked away and said, My heart isn't here right now. Let's think about the ranking battle. Now that they were talking about serious matters, the fatty became serious for once. He said, I'm afraid that the ranking competition will be unprecedentedly difficult. Many experts who broke out of the stone will come out, and even divine spirits born from the heavens and earth will come out. Why are these guys so interested in the ranking battle? Lin Feng frowned. Of course it's for the paradise of the 9 states. You have to know that the paradise of the 9 states hides many secrets. Those guys know many secrets that we don't. They want to enter the paradise of the 9 states to find those secrets and obtain heaven-defying opportunities. Fatso said. Lin Feng said, The 5 signs of celestial decay have appeared. It seems like the battle to destroy the world isn't far away. That's right, said the fat man. That's why they're all coming out. It's not just the young geniuses. Even the older geniuses who've sealed themselves in stone are coming out. We just haven't had the chance to meet them yet. The genius ranking competition is extremely intense. Just wait and see. The sovereign ranking competition is going to be just as exciting. It's going to be even more intense than here. Lin Feng said, The sky market world is about to open, right? It seems like the sovereign ranking battle is about to start. Fatso nodded. It's a pity that we won't have the chance to watch it. It was getting late, so Lin Feng decided to rest for a day before going to the Genius Tower. Chu Yashuan and the others had also obtained many opportunities, so they didn't plan to continue exploring the Genius training grounds. They planned to go to the Genius Tower to watch the battles. However, they weren't strong enough to compete for the Genius ranking battle, so Chu Yashuan and the others didn't plan to participate. At night, the moon hung high in the sky, and the stars dotted the sky. Lin Feng lay down on a smooth rock to rest. A fragrance wafted over. Chu Yashuan walked over. Chu Yashuan was wearing a long blue dress that accentuated her perfect figure. Even the fairies of the 9 heavens paled in comparison to her. Thank you for saving our lives, senior brother. Here are 100 Earth Source immortal crystals. Please accept them. Chu Yashuan took out a pouch of Earth Source immortal crystals. Earth Source immortal crystals were precious mainly because they were difficult to find. Lin Feng would have refused if they were ordinary items, but they were very useful for his cultivation. Lin Feng didn't refuse. We're from the same sect, so it's only natural that I save you. I won't let you suffer any losses. Here are 50 million origin crystals. Take it and share it with everyone. Lin Feng took out a pouch of origin crystals. Chu Yashuan hesitated for a moment, then nodded. She took the pouch of Earth Source immortal crystals and handed it to Lin Feng. When their hands touched, Chu Yashuan couldn't help but feel a little shy. Her face flushed red, and her hair turned red. She was as beautiful as a fairy from the legends. Chapter 2378. The Prodigy's Tower was like a towering mountain in the deepest part of the primordial ruins realm. The Prodigy's Tower stretched upward, and no one knew where it ended. The area where the Prodigy's Tower was located was extraordinary. There was a powerful restriction on space, and if one wanted to ascend the tower, they had to climb up from the outside. Many cultivators had already begun to climb the tower. Because of the restriction on space, if you fall from such a tall tower, you'll definitely be smashed into a pulp. Fatso said Lin Feng. It's said that there are also cosmic energies, such as gravity cosmic energies, space and time cosmic energies, which prevent cultivators from climbing the Tower of Geniuses. Climbing the Tower of Geniuses is a form of cultivation. If you can climb the Tower of Geniuses, your determination and physical strength will improve tremendously. Fatso said, That's right, that's true. Look at the cultivators climbing the Prodigy's Tower. Only a small portion of them can actually reach the top. Most of them are just trying to hone their cultivation. Let's go up too, Lin Feng said. Fatso nodded. All right, I can't wait to see what's at the top of the Prodigy's Tower. At that moment, Little Donkey suddenly jumped up and placed his front hooves on Fatso's shoulders, while his back hooves clamped onto Fatso's waist. F***CK, get off me, Fatso shouted gloomily. Little Donkey said, You're usually the one riding me, but climbing the Prodigy's Tower is as difficult as ascending to the heavens for me. Carry me up. Lin Feng burst out laughing. Fatso finally had a day like this. It's always been a man riding a donkey, but now a donkey is riding a man. How interesting. Many people pointed at the strange combination of Fatso and Little Donkey and couldn't help but laugh. These two guys were simply a pair of clowns. Fatso shouted angrily, Brother Donkey, don't go overboard. Otherwise, I'll fall out with you. Little Donkey said, Do you still have any shame? Fatso rolled his eyes speechlessly and said, What are you talking about? Why does it sound so hateful? Do you believe that Lord Fatty will slap you to death? Fatso went all out. All kinds of threatening methods were used, but Little Donkey remained indifferent. He had no intention of coming down. Fatso had no choice but to carry Little Donkey. Then, Lin Feng and the others also began to climb the Prodigy's Tower. At the bottom of the Prodigy's Tower was the law of gravity. The higher they climbed, the heavier their bodies felt. Many people could no longer bear it when they reached the 1,000-meter mark. The law of gravity at a distance of 1,000 meters increased the gravity by about 150,000 times. As such, after climbing to this height, many people had already reached their limit. When it reached about 10,000 meters, the law of gravity even reached 1,000,000 times. There were very few cultivators who could persist until now. The most perverse thing was when the law of gravity reached 1,000,000 times. The law of gravity did not disappear after reaching its limit. As they climbed higher, the law of gravity remained at 1,000,000 times. Fortunately, it did not increase. The law of space-time appeared above the law of gravity. A powerful space-time storm blew around the Prodigy's Tower. Many people were blown far away. Those who were weaker might even be torn apart by the space-time storm. They died on the spot. Above the law of space-time, there were also the law of ice, the law of the sun, the law of the sword, the law of illusions, the law of mental demons, and so on. Every 10,000 meters, a new law would appear to disturb the cultivators. After climbing 200,000 meters, Lin Feng finally saw a huge floating fortress in the sky. Damn, we're finally here, Fatso could not help but shout. Carrying Little Donkey all the way up had made Fatso very depressed. Of the disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal sect who had climbed the Prodigy's Tower with Lin Feng, only Chu Yashuan had made it this far. The others had all failed halfway and returned. Lin Feng was very surprised that Chu Yashuan had made it to the end and overcome 20 different laws. However, Lin Feng could see that it had not been easy for Chu Yashuan to make it this far. She looked haggard and had suffered some injuries. Her breathing was a little erratic. If the Prodigy's Tower was a little higher, Chu Yashuan would not have been able to continue. Lin Feng and the others finally arrived at the castle at the top of the Prodigy's Tower. This castle was called the Prodigy's City. It stood at the top of the Prodigy's Tower and was also the place where the Prodigy's ranking competition was held. Lin Feng took out a supreme-grade healing pill and gave it to Chu Yashuan. Eat it. Your body will recover faster. Chu Yashuan did not expect Lin Feng to care about her. When she saw the pill, she was very happy. She took the pill and thanked Lin Feng before eating it. Come down, Fatso shouted in exasperation. It's so comfortable. I can't bear to come down. Carry me to rest, Little Donkey said. Lin Feng laughed. Little Donkey seemed to like being carried. An image suddenly flashed through Lin Feng's mind. In the future, when he went out, it would not be Fatso riding Little Donkey. It would be Fatso carrying Little Donkey. Lin Feng could not help but laugh when he thought of this. It was too funny. Is Brother Donkey arrogant? Or is Master Fatty too weak to hold the knife? Let me tell you, Master Fatty can still hold the knife now, Fatso said through gritted teeth. Little Donkey smiled embarrassedly and jumped down from Fatso. A good donkey does not fight with others. Brother Donkey is magnanimous. I will not lower myself to your level. Damn it, I was despised by my own mount. Fatty's face was gloomy. Brother Donkey was not an ordinary mount. It was the best of the best. Let's go and take a look at the castle, Lin Feng said. They entered the castle. Many cultivators entered the castle one after another. Some were here to participate in the competition, while others were here to watch the show. Many people looked at Lin Feng and the others in surprise. Someone muttered, "A donkey climbed up? Is this donkey going to participate in the Heaven's Chosen rankings as well?" Brother Donkey was furious when he heard this. "Who are you calling a donkey? I am Heavenly Donkey Holy Master." "A donkey is a donkey. Heavenly Donkey Holy Master my ass." A cultivator rolled his eyes and said. Little Donkey locked onto the cultivator and pounced. Its front hooves landed on the cultivator's shoulder, and its back hooves clamped onto the cultivator's waist. Then, it lay on the cultivator's back and shouted, giddy up, run for me. I want you to be my human pet." "Get down." The cultivator was furious. The cultivator was furious and roared in exasperation. Being ridden by a donkey was simply a great humiliation. He wanted to throw the donkey off, but he failed every time he tried. "Human pet, be obedient and carry me on your back. Otherwise, I'll throw you out of the Tower of Geniuses." Little Donkey shouted arrogantly. Chapter 2379. This donkey is heaven-defying. I've never seen such a ferocious donkey. It's really a demonic donkey. Many people gathered around. Everyone was pointing and whispering amongst themselves. The cultivator who was being ridden by Little Donkey was so depressed that he even wanted to die. "I'll fight you to the death." The cultivator soared into the air and landed on his back. He wanted to smash Little Donkey into the ground, but Little Donkey did not let him have his way. Little Donkey controlled the cultivator's body. The cultivator landed on the ground again and looked like he wanted to cry but had no tears. "Spare me, I was wrong." The cultivator begged for mercy. He just wanted to escape from this place as soon as possible. He wanted to escape from the evil donkey's clutches. "Look at you. Trash like you isn't qualified to be my slave," said the holy sage. The donkey said and then jumped down. It raised its hind hooves and sent the cultivator flying with a kick. The cultivator glared at Little Donkey fiercely and turned to leave quickly. The donkey shouted, "This holy venerable wants to subdue a few human pets during the prodigy ranking competition. Those prodigies, saints, goddesses, and beauties are barely qualified to become this holy venerable's human pets. Keep bragging." Many people rolled their eyes and looked at Little Donkey with disdain. Did this guy really think he was a big shot? He actually dared to boast about subduing those top geniuses. He was really shameless. "What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a handsome donkey before? Remember my name. I'm called the Heavenly Donkey Holy Venerable." Little Donkey shouted at the cultivators around him. Many people could not help but give Little Donkey the middle finger before leaving. "Brother Donkey is leaving," Fatso said in annoyance. Little Donkey followed them. Then, he looked for a place to stay with Lin Feng and the others. Everyone entered the inner city of the ancient city. They immediately saw many human-shaped puppets shuttling back and forth in the city, welcoming the cultivators who entered. These human-shaped puppets looked exactly the same as humans. There were both men and women, but they were all wearing the same clothes. Their expressions were slightly wooden. "Everyone, please follow me. I'll bring you to a place to rest." A humanoid puppet walked over. It was a woman. She was tall and very attractive. She arranged a place for Lin Feng and the others to stay. Lin Feng and the others stayed in a place called the Qingya Pavilion. There were more than 10 huge courtyards. Every courtyard was filled with lush green grass, rockeries, and grotesque rocks. The environment was beautiful. There were 36 independent courtyards in the middle of the estate. After arranging the accommodations for Lin Feng and the others, the puppet left. Chu Yashuan said, "This puppet doesn't seem to be much different from a real person. It even knows how to think on its own. It's unbelievable." Lin Feng said with a smile, "These puppets are not simple. It's said that they're called heavenly Dao puppets. They were forged from heavenly Dao crystals and integrated with the world power of the original Ruins realm. It's not entirely accurate to call them puppets. They're more like a different kind of life form that has complete autonomy. However, it's said that they can't leave the original Ruins realm. It's like this. The purpose of their existence is to serve the primary Ruins realm, so they can't leave the primary Ruins realm. If they leave without permission, their bodies will self-destruct." Chu Yashuan asked, "Then who created them?" Lin Feng shook his head and said, "I'm not sure. It's said that they were already here when the original Ruins realm appeared. The original Ruins realm was also created by an expert. Even the Sky Ruins realm, which is connected to the original Ruins realm, was created by an expert." Fatso said, "I heard that the original Ruins realm and the Holy Ruins realm are related to the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors of the human race. As for whether that's true, I'm not too sure. The 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. That's too far-fetched," Lin Feng said as he stroked his chin. The courtyard they stayed in was a small 2-story building with more than 10 rooms. There were enough rooms, so everyone chose their own rooms. Lin Feng went into seclusion to adjust his condition. There wasn't much time left until the prodigy ranking competition. Sometime later, Lin Feng stayed in seclusion to adjust his condition. Dong 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 dong. On this day, the bell rang. Lin Feng was also alarmed. He walked out. Chu Yashuan said, "The cultivators who are participating in the ranking competition have to register. The prodigy ranking competition will officially begin in 3 days." There were many cultivators participating in the prodigy ranking competition, so they had to register first. After the registration, the next step was to draw up the list of participants. There were also some preparations that needed to be done. These things would be completed in 3 days. Lin Feng nodded and said, "All right, you can rest here. Fatso, Brother Donkey, and I will go register." Chu Yashuan nodded obediently. When they arrived at the registration square, they saw a sea of people, and it was very lively. There was an endless stream of cultivators registering. There were a total of 100 spots on the prodigy ranking. Naturally, the competition was intense. Many cultivators were in high spirits and full of confidence. Those who had the confidence to participate in the final prodigy ranking competition were all geniuses. They had powerful cultivation bases. Therefore, they were looking forward to their performance and believed that they could stand out. Of course, there were also some weaker cultivators who had worried looks on their faces. Even so, those cultivators still signed up. Perhaps there would be some miracles. Every time the prodigy ranking competition was held, there would be a few people who were luckier. Round after round of competition passed. They were lucky enough to avoid those top-notch experts every time. Therefore, they went very far. Some people were even lucky enough to make it into the top 100. Such things happened from time to time. Lin Feng saw Gong Ziyu. Gong Ziyu also saw Lin Feng and walked towards Lin Feng. The two of them exchanged a few simple words. At this moment, in the distance, endless demonic aura swept through heaven and earth as a group of cultivators flew over. When Lin Feng saw the leader, he couldn't help but frown. The son of the heavenly demon emperor. Gong Ziyu spat out coldly. Previously, Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu had joined forces to severely injure the son of the heavenly demon emperor. They were about to kill the son of the heavenly demon emperor, but the son of the heavenly demon emperor was taken away by someone in a cosmic bag. Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu chased for a long time, but they couldn't catch up. They originally thought that the son of the heavenly demon emperor had already been killed. However, they didn't expect that the other party didn't use the cosmic bag to take away the son of the heavenly demon emperor because they were eyeing the son's treasures. They were saving the son of the heavenly demon emperor. When the son of the heavenly demon emperor saw Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu, his eyes revealed monstrous killing intent. He quickly flew towards Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu. Chapter 2380. Have the two of you thought about how you'll die when you meet me in the qualifiers? The heavenly demon emperor's son glared coldly at Lin Feng and Gongziyu, killing intent flashing in his eyes. The heavenly demon emperor's son wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng and Gongziyu to pieces. If he didn't do that, Lin Feng and Gongziyu would give birth to endless demonic thoughts in his heart. If that happened, he might even suffer from cultivation deviation. Lin Feng and Gongziyu were his inner demons. Lin Feng laughed. Tisk, tsk. We beat you until you ran away like a dog, and now you're jumping around in front of us? Don't you have any shame? The heavenly demon emperor's son said angrily. The two of you ganged up on me, and you still have the nerve to praise yourselves? Bullshit. Who ganged up on you? Lin Feng pursed his lips. It was clearly the two of us who fought against each other. The corners of the heavenly demon emperor's son's mouth twitched when he heard Lin Feng's words. How can this guy describe ganging up on someone so casually? How shameless. Don't you know who that guy is? He's Lin Feng from the Reincarnation Immortal Sect. Have you heard of his nickname? What's his nickname? The disciples of the Reincarnation Immortal Sect all call him Scum. Scum? Hee hee. It seems like Lin Feng has done a lot of terrible things to deserve such a nickname, said Lin Feng, smiling. Lin Feng's cultivation base is terrifying. That guy beside him is Gongziyu, right? He's also an extremely terrifying existence. Previously, the two of them defended the Tianjiao Peak, and they both succeeded. It's obvious how strong they are. The heavenly demon emperor's son has a conflict with the two of them. It'll definitely be a fierce battle. I wonder who will win in the end. Many people saw that there was a verbal conflict here and immediately gathered around. They were all waiting to watch a good show. Before the Prodigy role ranking, there were many people provoking each other. This was also a highlight. The heavenly demon emperor's son wasn't a match for Lin Feng when it came to arguing. Therefore, when he heard Lin Feng's mockery, he gnashed his teeth in anger, but he couldn't refute Lin Feng. At that moment, a female cultivator beside the heavenly demon emperor's son said, "Your Highness, ignore him. You'll be able to kill him during the ranking competition." Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator who spoke. This female cultivator had a peerlessly enchanting figure. Her face was so beautiful that it was suffocating. She's beauty's faces. She was beautiful's beauty's beauty Chu's beauty. Chu Yashuan's beauty was pure, clean, and otherworldly. She was like a fairy who didn't belong to the mortal world. The woman in front of him, on the other hand, was a seductive beauty. Her beauty was so hot and enchanting that any man would go crazy for her. Tsk. So you're the one who saved the heavenly demon emperor's son. The heavenly demon emperor's son's severed arm was restored. It's definitely not the heavenly demon emperor's own ability. Did you help him recover his severed arm? Lin Feng looked at the woman with interest. She was a demoness. She emitted the aura of a demon. The woman looked at Lin Feng and said indifferently, "That's right, I did it. Soon, I'll be able to see you die at the hands of the heavenly demon emperor's son in the ranking competition." Ahaha, ahaha, little donkey shouted. What heavenly demon emperor? Isn't he just a heavenly demon? He's a race that disappeared long ago. Brother Feng doesn't even need to do anything. I can stomp him to death with my hooves. It's that donkey again. Many cultivators rolled their eyes. Little Donkey had been strolling around outside recently, saying that he wanted to take in some top-tier human pets. He was very arrogant. Someone wanted to teach Little Donkey a lesson. But in the end, he was beaten half to death by Little Donkey. Little Donkey was too powerful. Although he was arrogant, he had the strength to back it up. Many people knew Little Donkey. Now that Little Donkey was provoking the heavenly demon emperor's son, many people were speechless. Why was Little Donkey everywhere? A donkey. This prince can't be bothered to bicker with you because you're not worthy. The heavenly demon emperor's son glanced coldly at Little Donkey and said disdainfully. Little Donkey was furious. "You bastard. Are you blind? I'm the heavenly donkey holy sovereign. If you call me a donkey again, I'll kick you to death with my hooves." Pfff. Many people burst out laughing. Little Donkey was a freak among freaks. If they offended him, they would be angered to death by Little Donkey. The heavenly demon emperor's son's expression was gloomy. He glanced coldly at Little Donkey, but he didn't continue arguing with Little Donkey. He was the heavenly demon emperor's son. If he argued with a donkey, it would be beneath his dignity. The two of you should pray that you don't meet me later. That way, you'll be able to live longer. The heavenly demon emperor's son looked disdainfully at Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu. He was very confident in himself. In a one-on-one fight, he believed that he could easily kill Lin Feng or Gong Ziyu. We'll wait. Lin Feng and Gong Ziyu sneered. Let's go. The Sky Demon Emperor's son waved his hand, and the group of people followed behind him. The fatty's eyes were fixed on the demoness beside the Sky Demon Emperor's son. He said, "Beauty, don't go. Why don't you go back with Fat Brother? When the time comes, Fat Brother will treat you well." The enchanting woman looked at Fatso and revealed a bewitching expression. Then, she turned and left. Lin Feng patted Fatso's shoulder and said, "Good luck." Hey. Fatty laughed weirdly and said, "Wait until we meet that little girl in the ranking competition. Lord Fatty will definitely carry her back to our place. At that time, we'll throw the dice and whoever wins gets to keep her." "That's a good idea." Lin Feng stroked his chin and said, "Not interested." Gong Ziyu said coldly, "What? They didn't even fight and they're already leaving. Let's leave as well." Many of the cultivators who were watching the show were speechless. Then, they quickly left. In the registration hall, there were 100 human-shaped puppets sitting in front of tables. They were responsible for the registration of cultivators. The cultivators who were participating in the qualifiers were lined up in long lines and went to register in an orderly manner. At that moment, Lin Feng suddenly felt two cold gazes lock onto him. These two gazes made his hair stand on end. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel shocked. He turned around and saw the mysterious woman in white. Gong Ziyu seemed to sense something and looked over. When he saw the woman in white, he frowned and said, "It's her. I didn't think that she would choose to appear at a time like this." Chapter 2381. Gong Ziyu smiled bitterly. "Yes, we've known each other since we were young." This surprised Lin Feng. Gong Ziyu had known the woman in white since they were young. Lin Feng was even more curious about the woman's identity. He wondered who the woman in white was. He asked, "Who exactly is that woman in white?" Gong Ziyu said, "Her name is Bai Wanyu, and her background is not simple. There's an ancient race called the Divine Sun Race, and she's from the Divine Sun Race." "The Divine Sun Race? What race is that? I've never heard of it." Lin Feng could not help but mutter. However, in this world, there were too many different races. They were as numerous as the hairs on a cow. There were large and small races. The more famous ones were the Sky Devil race, the Skeleton race, the Kinwu people, the Three-Eyed race, the Dragon race, the Peacock race, and so on. Of course, there were also many less famous races. However, some of the less famous races were not necessarily weak. In fact, there were some races that others had never even heard of, and their strength was incomparably terrifying. For example, there was once a race called the Giant Crocodile race. This race was too powerful. During the primordial era, they fed on Khanate life forms. After the Khanate era ended, they fed on giant dragons, Taotais, and other divine beasts. However, this race was unknown because those who had seen the giant crocodile of Primordial had all become its food. Naturally, no one knew about the giant crocodile of Primordial. As for the Divine Sun race, although Lin Feng did not know what race it was, he felt that it was not an ordinary race just by hearing the name. It was very likely that it was an extremely powerful and terrifying race. Fatso said, "The Divine Sun race. Is it the race that lives near the sun?" "Lives near the sun?" Lin Feng was surprised. The sun illuminated the world. It was a place that even immortals could not reach. To living beings, the sun was a place that could not be explored. Therefore, the sun was filled with endless mysteries. As for what was on top of the sun, no one knew. When Lin Feng heard Gong Ziyu say that the woman in white was from the Divine Sun clan, he suspected that the woman in white might be related to the sun. Perhaps it was time to prove this point. Gong Ziyu said, "The Divine Sun race is said to be the race that guards the sun. They live in the Divine Sun Great World, and the Divine Sun Great World is one of the great worlds closest to the sun. If he's from the Divine Sun clan, why would he appear in the 9 states? Lin Feng was puzzled. Back then, when Bai Wanyu's ancestors were traveling through the stars, something strange seemed to have happened. Many people died, but Bai Wanyu was lucky enough to escape. Then, she descended and slaughtered the 9 states world. Gongziyu said, cultivators who dared to travel long distances in the starry sky were definitely abnormally strong. It seemed that what had happened back then must have been very terrifying. Otherwise, the Divine Sun cultivators would not have suffered such heavy losses. Gongziyu said, when Bai Wanyu came to the 9 states, she was still a teenage girl. At that time, something happened in my clan, so I had to escape from my clan and come to the 9 states. Then, I got to know Bai Wanyu, and we even went on a mission together. Later, I heard that this woman entered the Yuanshu world and used some unknown method to seal herself so that her life stopped flowing. She was waiting for the day to come that she would recover. I left the 9 states and came to the Tianwu continent, where I sealed myself in a stone and fell into a deep sleep. Gongziyu's expression was a little lonely. Perhaps he was thinking of some things in the past. Although he was the son of the Sky Demon Emperor, Lin Feng felt that Gongziyu's life was not as dazzling as he had imagined. The changes that had happened back then had forced him to leave his home. It seemed that something extremely complicated had happened back then. If he did not leave, perhaps only death would await him. However, Lin Feng did not know what had happened to Gongziyu back then, and Gongziyu had no intention of talking about it. Lin Feng knew Gongziyu better. If he wanted to talk about it, he did not need to ask. Gongziyu would tell him what had happened back then. If he did not want to talk about it, even if he asked, Gongziyu would not talk about it. Bai Wanyu flew towards Lin Feng. Fatso said, she's here. This woman is very scary. Even little Donkey, who had always been fearless, could not help but reveal an extremely fearful expression. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Using the word scary alone was not enough to describe this woman. After Bai Wanyu glanced at Lin Feng, she looked at Gongziyu. I didn't expect to see an old friend after sleeping for countless years. Gongziyu said, yes, I didn't expect to see you here either. It seems that you must have woken up because you sensed the aura of the 5 signs of heaven's decay. Bai Wanyu said, this is the worst era, but it's also the best era. The age of doom has ended, and the era is on the verge of collapse. A new era is about to begin. If you can survive, you will be able to transcend life and death and become a living being that transcends eras to exist in the world. Heh, isn't that equivalent to a living being in the black fog? It can transcend eras and not be destroyed, obtaining great luck when the era is rebuilt. Lin Feng could not help but say, however, as far as I know, the living beings in the black fog are not the most terrifying. The living beings in the black fog are only living beings that are controlled by people. Bai Wanyu said. Hearing Bai Wanyu's words, Lin Feng could not help but gasp. The living beings in the black fog had pushed the end of one great era after another. They were such terrifying existences. They were almost unkillable existences. They were actually a group of living beings that were controlled by people? Was this true? Why did it sound so unbelievable? However, Bai Wanyu looked serious and did not seem to be joking at all. Lin Feng originally wanted to ask Bai Wanyu about the living beings in the black fog. However, Bai Wanyu was obviously not interested in talking about this matter. She chatted with Gongziyu for a while before leaving. Lin Feng didn't know what to say. Soon, it was their turn to sign up. The registration was very simple. They only needed to provide their name, age, and the force they belonged to. If they were rogue cultivators, they could indicate that they were rogue cultivators. Age could not be faked. This was because every cultivator who signed up would receive a Jade token. The Jade token would record all kinds of information about the cultivators who signed up. When the ranking competition began, the information about each victory and defeat would also be recorded. There was a bone pattern formation on the Jade token. The bone pattern formation could detect a cultivator's true age. Because the ranking competition used a point system, when the points were the same, it would be based on age. The younger one would advance, and the older one would be eliminated. Therefore, the ranking competition of the Prodigy ranking had a very high requirement for age. The younger one was, the more points they had, which meant that they were more talented. After the registration was over, Lin Feng, Gongziyu, Fatso, and Little Donkey returned to their residence to rest and adjust their states. They waited for the prodigy ranking competition to officially begin in 3 days. Chapter 2382. 3 days passed very quickly. Early in the morning, everyone arrived at the square. There were many cultivators gathered in the square. Some were here to participate in the prodigy role ranking competition, while others were here to watch the battle. Watching the battle between the top experts might allow them to comprehend some Tao. It was also beneficial to one's cultivation base. Lin Feng and the others also rushed to the square, waiting for the prodigy role ranking competition to begin. Many top geniuses had arrived, and some of them were very well hidden. Previously, they had kept a low profile, but now that the prodigy role ranking competition had officially begun, those cultivators who had hidden their cultivation would probably amaze the world with a single feat in some large-scale competitions. There would often be dark horses. Originally, they were not obvious. However, they would amaze the world with a single feat. In fact, these dark horses were deliberately hiding their strength in order to achieve the effect of amaze the world with a single feat. Only in this way would it be easier for people to remember them. For example, in this prodigy role ranking competition, there would definitely be such dark horses, becoming famous in one fell swoop. It was said that these dark horses would shine brightly. Everyone was discussing and speculating who would successfully make it to the prodigy role. As long as they could make it to the prodigy role, they would be qualified to enter the 9 states immortal realm. Of course, making it to the prodigy role was only the first step. Next, they had to do their best to improve their ranking. The higher their ranking, the more generous the rewards. Most importantly, they would receive a lot of luck as a reward. At this stage of cultivation, every cultivator knew the importance of luck. Moreover, the luck rewarded by the prodigy role ranking competition was not as simple as ordinary luck. The luck rewarded by the prodigy role ranking competition was also related to some opportunities in the 9 states immortal realm. The more luck one received as a reward, the more incredible the opportunity one would get when entering the 9 regions immortal realm. So, all the cultivators who made it to the prodigy role would definitely do their best to improve their ranking. The higher their ranking, the more luck they would receive. After entering the 9 states immortal realm, the more amazing the opportunities they would receive. Dong, dong, dong. The Dao bell rang again. Everyone's spirits were suddenly shaken. As the Dao bell rang, it meant that the prodigy role ranking competition was about to begin. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Tens of cultivators flew over from afar. The one in the lead was an old man. These people were all humanoid puppets. However, they had their own thoughts and were very powerful. They even had their own names. Every puppet was different from the rest. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't want to simply call them puppets. Lin Feng preferred to see them as a race. Lin Feng gave them a name in his heart, which was the puppet race. The old man in the lead stopped on the stage at the center of the plaza. He clasped his fists and said, "Everyone, my surname is Dong Feng, and my name is Sovereign Sovereign. I am the manager of the Heaven's Pride ranking competition. The fact that all of you are here shows that you are the top geniuses of the 9 prefectures in the past 800 years. There will definitely be some among you who will be able to rise to the top and become overlords. However, most of you will probably be wiped out and become mediocre. How can you become an overlord? There are many factors involved, but there is one thing that is very important to all of you, and that is to seize all the opportunities that you can. How many opportunities can there be in life? Sometimes, if you miss an opportunity, you might never encounter such a good opportunity again in your life. Those who can make it into the Heaven's Pride ranking will not only receive generous rewards, but they will also be able to enter the 9 prefectures paradise. I'm sure everyone knows about the 9 prefectures paradise. The history of the 9 prefectures paradise is difficult to trace, but we know one thing for sure. That place hides countless secrets of the 9 prefectures, countless top-notch cultivation techniques, powerful immortal techniques, immortal treasures, and so on. Every time the 9 prefectures paradise opens, there will be people who obtain such heaven-defying opportunities. You should know about the Red World Fairy. Why is she so powerful? It's because the Red World Fairy obtained a heaven-defying era in the 9 prefectures paradise. As for whether you can become the Red World Fairy, that will depend on your own abilities. Sovereign Dongfang's words made many people extremely excited. Many cultivators were even extremely upset now. Why didn't they sign up? Although it was very difficult to make it into the Heaven's Pride ranking with their cultivation level. But if they were lucky enough, they might really be able to occupy a spot on the Heaven's Pride ranking. But now, it was too late to regret. The registration for the Heaven's Pride ranking competition had already ended. Sovereign Dongfang continued, because there are too many participants in the Heaven's Pride ranking competition, we will adopt a point system. Every time an opponent is eliminated, you will receive a certain amount of points as a reward. The winner will also automatically receive the opponent's points as a reward. This kind of duel will last until 1,000 people. The last 1,000 people will be ranked according to their points. Under normal circumstances, the cultivator with the higher points is usually stronger. The duel between these 1,000 cultivators will not be randomly drawn to disrupt the order. Instead, the cultivator with the first 1,000 points will fight the cultivator with the first 1,000 points. The cultivator with the second 1,000 points will fight the cultivator with the 999th points, and so on, until the top 100 is determined. After the top 100 is determined, the top 100 cultivators will engage in the final duel. At this time, the two sides will be randomly drawn. The winner will advance, and the loser will be eliminated until everyone's ranking is determined. This kind of rule had been in place for many years, so many people knew about it in advance, so they didn't make a fuss. There were probably hundreds of thousands of cultivators participating this time. The duel of the Heaven's Pride ranking competition would definitely take a long time. The Heaven's Pride ranking competition has officially begun. Sovereign Dongfang shouted in a deep voice. As Sovereign Dongfang's voice fell, immediately afterward, void arenas appeared one after another. A total of 1,000 void arenas were suspended in mid-air. Swoosh, swoosh. Beams of light shot out from these void arenas. The beams of light enveloped the cultivators one by one. All the cultivators who were enveloped by the beams of light were teleported to the void arenas by the beams of light. Boom! Soon, the cultivators on the arenas were engaged in a fierce battle. Many of the cultivators on the arenas were evenly matched. However, some of the duels on the arenas were one-sided. The first wave of cultivators didn't choose Lin Feng and the others. Because there were too many people, Gongziyu was only swept to the arena by a beam of light after more than 2 hours. Gongziyu was also the first person among Lin Feng and the others to step onto the void arena to fight. Lin Feng and the others also looked at the void arena where Gongziyu was. Chapter 2383. Gongziyu's opponent was a woman, and a very beautiful one at that. She wore a long pink dress and had an impressive figure. She was born with a face so delicate that it could be broken by the wind. Moreover, she was very charming. She exuded a seductive aura from head to toe. Although she was slightly inferior to Chu Yashuan and the Demoness by the Sky Demon Emperor's sun side, still, she could definitely be considered a peerless beauty. Little brother, you must go easy on me later. The woman giggled. Her face was pink, and she seemed very shy. Wow, she's so pretty. Gongziyu, you mustn't hurt this little fairy sister, Fatso shouted. How he wished he could replace Gongziyu and fight that seductive woman. He might even be able to get close to her then. A charm technique. She's using a charm technique on Gongziyu. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Charm techniques were often extremely strange. Most importantly, there were too many ways to use charm techniques. Any random action could be used to cast a charm technique. Thus, it was very easy to fall for it. A charm technique? No wonder. I almost fell for it just now. Fatso grinned. He didn't look like he had fallen for the charm at all. He looked at Gongziyu and saw that Gongziyu was still standing in place. Meanwhile, the seductive woman was swaying her slender waist as she walked towards Gongziyu. She was extremely seductive. Fatty immediately cried out, "This guy usually puts on a cold and callous appearance. Who would have thought that he's actually a womanizer? But then again, it's normal. After all, how can a man not like a woman?" Little Donkey shouted, "Do you think everyone is like you?" You can't move your feet when you see a beautiful woman. Fatso said calmly, "What do you know?" Lord Fatty appreciates those beauties with the attitude of appreciating beauty. Fatso was the kind of person who didn't fear boiling water. He was very shameless. However, Lin Feng was already used to it. At this time, Lin Feng's attention was on the stage. The flirtatious woman had already arrived at Gongzi Yu's side. She seemed to be very confident in her charm technique. A smug smile appeared on her charming face. She stretched out her hand and tapped Gongzi Yu lightly, wanting to disperse Gongzi Yu's mana. Who would have known? Gongzi Yu, who had been motionless, suddenly raised his fist. Suddenly, a loud bang was heard. Gongzi Yu punched the beautiful face of the flirtatious woman. The seductive woman was knocked unconscious by Gongzi Yu's punch and fell straight to the ground. Her originally beautiful face was now swollen. What the? Are you still human? You actually don't know how to show mercy to a woman. The crimes that this guy has committed are too numerous to be recorded. Later, I better meet this guy. I will teach him a lesson and let him know how to treat a woman. Many people couldn't help but angrily shout. No matter where a beautiful woman went, she would always be the center of attention. The flirtatious woman just now was naturally this kind of woman. So many people were paying attention to the battle between Gongzi Yu and the flirtatious woman. If Gongzi Yu defeated the flirtatious woman in a more gentlemanly way, no one would say anything. But the key point was that Gongzi Yu used such a brutal way to defeat the flirtatious woman, which immediately aroused the anger of the crowd. Lin Feng also smiled bitterly. However, he could also understand Gongzi Yu. Gongzi Yu, this guy, really didn't get close to women. So in the eyes of others, that flirtatious woman was as beautiful as a fairy. She was someone who needed extra care. But in Gongzi Yu's eyes, that flirtatious woman was no different from a stone, a wooden stake, a man, or a beast. Anyone who dared to stop him from entering the prodigy list. They were all his opponents. Gongzi Yu punched the woman until she fainted. This was already considered as being merciful. One had to know that Gongzi Yu wasn't a kind person. This guy was the son of the Sky Devil Emperor. His hands were stained with the blood of countless people. Gongzi Yu directly ignored the group of cultivators who were filled with righteous indignation and flew down from the stage. Then, he stood beside Lin Feng. Chu Yashuan seemed to be a little afraid of Gongzi Yu and leaned against Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Brother, don't be so brutal next time. It's okay if you scare the children, but it's not good if you scare the flowers and plants." Gongzi Yu nodded seriously. Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. Swoosh! An hour later, another beam of light shone down. This time, it enveloped Little Donkey. Watch Brother Donkey's massacre. The donkey began to bray loudly. In the next moment, it was teleported to the arena. Little Donkey's opponent was an extremely rough-looking cultivator with a huge axe. Damn it! Is there a mistake? Why is my opponent a donkey? The cultivator couldn't help but cry out gloomily. Lin Feng and the others looked at the cultivator with pity when they heard his complaints. Little Donkey hated it when people called it a donkey or this donkey. This cultivator had violated a taboo. Damn you! Open your dog eyes. I'm the Heavenly Donkey Sage. Kneel down and beg me. Great Heavenly Donkey Sage, I was wrong. Please spare me, and I'll let you go. Otherwise, I'll kick you to death. Do you believe me? Little Donkey shouted arrogantly. Damn, isn't this donkey a little too arrogant? Many of the cultivators in the crowd muttered, "This donkey is very strong. Don't be fooled by its arrogance. It has the right to be arrogant." Some of the cultivators who'd seen Little Donkey in action said, they knew that Little Donkey wasn't someone to be trifled with. "How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? I'll chop you to death." The rough-looking cultivator shouted coldly, swinging his axe at Little Donkey. Ahahaha! Ahahaha! Little Donkey laughed strangely, then raised its hooves and kicked at the cultivator. Bang! Little Donkey's kick sent the cultivator flying. He fell to the ground, unmoving. Little Donkey charged over, wanting to teach the cultivator a lesson. However, Little Donkey discovered that the cultivator had been knocked unconscious by its hooves. Little Donkey immediately lost its desire to fight. I'm the Heavenly Donkey Sage. Remember this. Little Donkey immediately shouted in the crowd. looking very arrogant. Little Donkey then flew down. 2 hours later, whoosh, another beam of light shone down, this time onto Lin Feng. "It's my turn." Lin Feng perked up. In the next moment, he was teleported onto the arena. Chapter 2384. Lin Feng's opponent was also moved onto the stage. It was a young cultivator in green robes. When he saw Lin Feng, he had a bitter expression on his face. "Brother-in-law, please have mercy on me," the cultivator said. F***CK. Who's this? Why did you randomly call him your brother-in-law? Fatso immediately shouted from below. Many people also burst into laughter. The battle hadn't even started, and he already called Lin Feng his brother-in-law. Wasn't this guy too funny? Why did he sell out his own sister? Little Donkey shouted. "What does your sister look like? If she's too ugly, Brother Feng doesn't want her." That cultivator's face was filled with black lines as he glared at Little Donkey. Lin Feng pondered for a moment, then said, "You're from the Mu clan of the god realm of infinite desolation?" The cultivator hurriedly nodded and said, "Yes, brother-in-law. I'm from the Mu clan. My name is Mu Xinkuen, and I'm Mu Xinsher's cousin." He was referring to his uncle's son. As for whether he was his cousin or not, Lin Feng couldn't be bothered to ask. He nodded and said, "All right, let's fight. I'll stop when the time comes." "Thank you, brother-in-law." Mu Xinkuen suddenly stomped his foot and directly shot towards Lin Feng. He began to attack Lin Feng. Mu Xinkuen was quite depressed that he had encountered an expert like Lin Feng in the first round. However, after thinking about it, Mu Xinkuen realized that his chances of entering the prodigy role weren't high. Now, he had encountered an expert like Lin Feng, and they were even relatives. He could boldly attack Lin Feng without any worries and display all his skills to the fullest. Let this cousin-in-law of his give him some pointers. It could also be considered a great harvest. TSK, they really are relatives, many people said as they smacked their lips. The cultivators of the Mu clan had gathered together. There were about 100 of them, and they were all elites of the younger generation of the Mu clan. They were all watching the battle on the stage. Now, these people had a deeper understanding of Lin Feng. Originally, they all thought that Lin Feng was a very ordinary young cultivator. If Lin Feng's teacher hadn't been Mr. Tortoise, he would have been furious. Who would recognize him? Therefore, everyone seemed to be able to understand why Mu Xianling looked down on Lin Feng. The man Mu Xianling was going to marry would definitely be a peerless genius who could laugh proudly in the 9 states. Was Lin Feng worthy? But who would have thought that Lin Feng had hidden his strength so deeply? Even the son of the heavenly demon emperor had almost died at his hands. At that time, Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu had joined forces to attack the heavenly demon emperor's son. However, many people speculated that Lin Feng and Gongzi Yu's cultivation should be similar to that of the Sky Demon Emperor's son. That was why the two of them could injure the Sky Demon Emperor's son to such an extent when they worked together. If the two of them were weaker than the Sky Demon Emperor's son, even if they worked together, it would be very difficult for them to injure Lin Feng. Some of the women in the Mu clan were now envious of Mu Xinsher. After Mu Xianling had rejected the marriage alliance with Lin Feng, the elders of the Mu clan had also discussed this matter with them. However, no one was willing to marry Lin Feng. In the end, they chose Mu Xinsher. Now that they thought about it, their intestines were green with regret. Lin Feng was such a powerful person. If there were no accidents, he would almost certainly enter the prodigy role. As for his ranking on the prodigy role, it would depend on the specific situation at that time. Lin Feng gave Mu Xinkuen some pointers on his cultivation. Mu Xinkuen stood on the stage and seemed to have comprehended something. He only woke up after an hour. After waking up, he had a pleasantly surprised expression on his face. Then, he cupped his fists at Lin Feng, took the initiative to admit defeat, and flew down. The first round of the competition ended peacefully. Lin Feng also flew down. Not long after, Fatso appeared and easily defeated his opponent. Round after round of the competition was carried out. Lin Feng and the others also continuously went up the stage. It was now the preliminary stage. The main thing was to defeat the opponents and strive to enter the top 1,000. Then, they had to earn as many points as possible. The more points they earned, the higher their ranking was, The first way to earn points was to obtain the opponent's points when they defeated him. The second was to defeat the opponent as quickly as possible, because defeating the opponent would also give them points. The faster they defeated the opponent, the more points they would receive. The preliminaries lasted for a total of 10 days, and there were no breaks in between. The cultivators who participated in the competition would all rest after winning. Lin Feng had earned a total of 720,000 points. He was ranked 42nd in the final list of 1,000 people. Although he wasn't particularly in the front, this ranking was already considered quite good. Lin Feng only knew the son of the Heaven Demon Emperor among the top 3. He didn't know the other 2. The son of the Heaven Demon Emperor was ranked 3rd. The second was a woman with a veil over her face. He couldn't see what she looked like. The third was a little girl who looked to be only 6 or 7 years old. Lin Feng had seen that little girl attack previously. She was unbelievably ferocious, and no matter who it was, they would all be knocked out by her punch. The little girl looked very cute, but who would have thought that she would be so ferocious? Everyone, rest for 6 hours. At that time, the finals will be held until the top 100 are decided, Dongfang Zhentian said. Everyone seized the time to rest and adjust their states. 6 hours passed in the blink of an eye. The competition continued. There were only 10 void arenas left. The contestants in the first round of the finals were the 500th place against the 500th and first place, 499 against 502, the 498th versus the 503rd, the 497th versus the 504th, the 496th versus the 505th, 495 versus 506, the 494th versus the 507th, the 493rd versus the 508th, the 492nd versus the 509th, the 491st versus the 510th. Swoosh, 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 beams of light enveloped these cultivators. These cultivators were swept up into the arena one after another. Hey, Zhang Yang, that's a disciple of our reincarnation immortal sect. Chu Yashuan pointed to a thin male cultivator. This male disciple of the reincarnation immortal sect named Zhang Yang was ranked 510th. His opponent was the cultivator ranked 491st, Begin, with the command of Dongfang Zhentian. The cultivators on the 10 arenas fought one after another. To be able to stand out among hundreds of thousands of people and fight their way into the top 1,000. Naturally, they were the top experts of the 9 regions. Therefore, the battles on each arena were very exciting. All kinds of magical powers were displayed. It was simply dazzling. Meanwhile, Lin Feng and the others were looking at Zhang Yang's battle ring. After all, Zhang Yang was a disciple of the reincarnation immortal sect. Compared to the battles on the other arenas, they naturally paid more attention to the battle between Zhang Yang and another cultivator. Chapter 2385. Zhang Yang's opponent was a cultivator wearing a grayish-brown robe. That cultivator exuded a cold aura. It seemed that he was a demon expert. Swoosh, swoosh. The two of them did not speak much and directly engaged in battle. All kinds of supernatural powers were displayed, bombarding each other. After fighting for more than 30 rounds, Zhang Yang was gradually losing the upper hand. You can't take more than 30 rounds? That demon expert let out a burst of gloomy whispers, sending chills down one's spine. Don't be complacent too early, Zhang Yang said in a cold voice. He stepped forward and threw punch after punch at the demonic faction expert. The fist technique that Zhang Yang used was called Moon Falling Sky Fist. He had obviously cultivated this fist technique to the point where it was as pure as fire. One punch after another was thrown out. Stars and moons were falling from the sky. Of course, those were not real stars and moons, but stars and moons evolved from supernatural powers. The power was huge. Thousands of holy lights intertwined. Stars and moons fell. Although it was evolved from a divine ability, its power was terrifying enough to make people tremble in fear. Humph! In the face of such a tyrannical attack, that demon cultivator snorted coldly. Buddha and demon dual cultivator. Demon Buddha appears. Suddenly, the evil cultivator let out a long howl. Then, a shocking scene appeared. A terrifying existence appeared behind him. Half of that existence's body was that of a Buddha. Golden light shone, and Buddha's light illuminated the world. It was as if an ancient Buddha had descended to the world. The other half of the body was that of a demon. Endless demonic light emitted from the demon body. Demon destroys the world. Demon swallows the sky. One Buddha and one demon. They were supposed to oppose each other and restrain each other. But now, it had appeared on a body. It was truly inconceivable. Buddha and demon Tao, thousands of ancient techniques. Buddha and demon as one, moving unhindered in the world. After seeing this secret technique, Lin Feng shook his head and said, "Senior brother Zhang is going to be defeated." Sure enough, it was as Lin Feng had said. The demon and Buddha combined into one body, stretched out both hands, as if it could push the world apart. Both hands clapped repeatedly. Bang, bang, bang. The falling moon and stars were all destroyed. After that, the Buddha body slapped Zhang Yang with his palm and sent Zhang Yang flying off into the distance. Wah! Zhang Yang could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper. That strike just now. Zhang Yang was heavily injured. He fell to the ground and no longer had the strength to fight. After the victor was decided, the two cultivators flew down and new cultivators were teleported onto the arena to fight each other. Gongzi ranked 35th, Fatso was ranked 57th. Little Donkey had the highest score, ranking 11th. Lin Feng was ranked 42nd. Therefore, they would not go on stage for a while. Lin Feng and the others watched the battles with great interest. More and more disciples of the reincarnation immortal sect stepped onto the platform. Someone defeated their opponent and successfully advanced to the next round. There were some who were defeated and miserably eliminated. The battles were not particularly bloody, and no cultivators died. Under normal circumstances, if there was no deep hatred, there would basically be no deaths in this kind of arena battle. Unless there was some deep hatred and they had to kill the other party, there would be people killed in the arena. Because they were all experts, it was not easy to determine the winner in a short period of time. Therefore, each battle was relatively slow. 5 days later, a battle attracted Lin Feng's attention. This battle was between Mu Xinxiang, ranked 77th, and Zhang Muyun, ranked 923rd. The reason why Lin Feng paid attention to this battle was because Mu Xinxiang was from the Mu family, and he had heard of Mu Xinxiang's name from Mu Xianshi. Mu Xianshi said that she had a few half-brothers, but they were not very close. Lin Feng remembered that one of them was called Mu Xinxiang. It should be the person in front of him. Mu Xinxiang's strength was very tyrannical. He only used 10 moves to defeat Zhang Muyun and successfully advanced. Not long after, Fatso appeared. Fatso also defeated its opponent rather easily. After Fatso appeared, they waited for another 12 hours. Lin Feng also went up the arena and defeated his opponent rather easily. After Lin Feng went down, Mu Xianling went up the arena. Mu Xianling's points were in front of Lin Feng, and she was ranked 41st. Mu Xianling also defeated her opponent very easily. The further they went, the greater the difference in strength between the two sides. Therefore, it was easier for them to end the battle quickly. Not long after, Gongzi also went up the arena. Gongzi also advanced easily. The last one to go up the arena was Little Donkey. Hello everyone. Remember, my name is Heavenly Donkey Sage. Little Donkey shouted after going up the arena, looking arrogant. Many people could not help but mutter. It was this donkey again, although it looked like it deserved a beating. Everyone also knew that Little Donkey was not to be trifled with. However, everyone was quite disdainful of Little Donkey's claim that he was called Heavenly Donkey Sage. A donkey. So what if his cultivation was higher? He actually dared to call himself Sage? This was even more shameless than those demonic cultivators who called themselves Great Emperor. Little Donkey's opponent was a cultivator ranked 999. This cultivator was naturally no match for Little Donkey. The next 10 rounds of battles also ended very quickly. As a result, the battles of the top 1,000 to the top 500 all ended. Next was the battle of the top 200-500 to the top 205. This round of advancement battles was even more intense. Because the further one went, the stronger the cultivators were. It was naturally more difficult to defeat their opponents and advance. However, Lin Feng and the others were outstanding. In this round of advancement battles, they defeated their opponents and successfully advanced. Next was the battle of the top 250 to the top 125th. This round of advancement battles used the same method as before. The ones with the highest points were the seeded contestants. The ones with the highest points faced the ones with the lowest points, and so on. However, the biggest difference between this round of advancement battles and the previous ones was that many of the cultivators with low points displayed extremely terrifying combat strength. There were constantly cultivators with low points defeating cultivators with high points. There are only 250 people left. These people stood out from hundreds of thousands of people. Now, it's impossible to judge their strength by points alone. Lin Feng said. Gongziyu nodded and said, "That's true." Moreover, many people were hiding their strength before. Now, these people won't continue to hide. At this time, the battles in the arenas continued to determine the winners and losers. In the same batch, in the battles in the 10 arenas, a total of 7 cultivators with high points were defeated by their opponents one after another. This caused countless people to gasp in amazement. In the previous dozens of battles, most of the cultivators who were eliminated were cultivators with high points. On the contrary, some of the cultivators with low points defeated their opponents and successfully advanced. Fatso muttered, there are so many people who pretend to be weak to eat strong opponents. Swoosh! A beam of light shone down and enveloped Fatso. The next moment, Chapter 2386. Wah, it's Fatso's turn. Little Donkey grinned when he saw Fatso being teleported away. Damn you. Fatso was still in midair when he heard Little Donkey call him Fatso. Fatso immediately cursed and raised his middle finger at Little Donkey. Little Donkey hated it when people called him this donkey, that donkey, or that donkey. Fatty, on the other hand, hated it when people called him damn Fatty. These two guys were really a pair of weirdos. Fatso landed in the arena. At this time, Fatso's opponent also landed in the arena. Fatso's opponent was wearing a black, tight-fitting suit. He was relatively short and had his face covered. His body exuded a cold aura. An assassin? Lin Feng could not help but raise his eyebrows slightly. There were also some top assassin organizations in the 9 states. Generally, assassins trained by assassin organizations were more low-key. However, there were also some assassins who were more high-profile. Just like this year's Prodigy ranking competition, ordinary assassins were not willing to participate in this kind of high-profile Prodigy ranking competition to avoid exposing themselves. However, Fatso's opponent came swaggering to participate in the Prodigy ranking competition. Moreover, he had advanced to the top 250. This person's aura was very terrifying. At a glance, it was obvious that he was an expert who pretended to be weak. This time, he came to participate in the Prodigy ranking competition. It seemed that he had absolute confidence in his strength. Perhaps he wanted to kill his way into the top 100. It's rare for an assassin to participate in the Prodigy ranking competition. Many people looked at the arena where Fatso was and could not help but frown slightly. Assassins were a profession that was not liked by people. They lived in the dark and killed people for money. This profession made people instinctively feel disgusted. Of course, perhaps it was because people were afraid of assassins that they felt disgusted with this profession. Who knew when they would die in the hands of these detestable assassins? After all, who did not have a few enemies? Many people were most worried that their enemies would find assassins to assassinate them. TSK. Even assassins are participating in the Heaven's Pride ranking competition. Fatso muttered. If Fatso, who is as fat as a pig, can come, why can't I? The assassin said coldly. Hearing the assassin's words, Fatso was almost angered to death. Master Fatty will let you have a taste of a fist bigger than a sandbag. Fatso roared. Then, he pounced on the killer. Dog-beating fist technique, Fatso shouted as he threw out a punch. Shadows of fists filled the sky as they headed straight for the assassin. Naturally, his fist technique wasn't called the dog-beating fist technique. The name dog-beating fist was given by Fatso on purpose to infuriate the killer. However, the assassin's gaze was cold and indifferent. He was not angered by Fatso's words. He wanted to become a top assassin. Patience was a compulsory subject. Therefore, it wasn't easy to infuriate these assassins with words. Faced with Fatso's attack, the assassin disappeared without a trace. He's gone. These assassins are the best at concealment techniques. My divine telekinesis can't detect the assassin's whereabouts. This is too strange. He actually disappeared without a trace. Many people exclaimed in surprise. The assassin seemed to have vanished without a trace. They couldn't detect his whereabouts and didn't know what kind of technique he used. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. He used his divine telekinesis to scan the arena where Fatso was, but he couldn't find the assassin's whereabouts. Gongziyu said, "He must have fused with the void. This assassin's use of the void is amazing." Lin Feng nodded. Bang! Suddenly, the assassin appeared silently behind Fatso and kicked Fatso's buttocks, sending Fatso flying. Fatso fell to the ground miserably and fell flat on his face. Ouch! Lord Fatty's buttocks. You damned bastard. How dare you kick Lord Fatty's buttocks? Fatso covered his buttocks and jumped up, glaring fiercely at the assassin. The assassin said, "This move of mine is called backward-facing wild goose landing. It's pretty powerful, right?" How could Fatso not know that the assassin was mocking him? Fatso was furious. He cursed, "Shorty, do you think Lord Fatty has no way of dealing with you? Lord Fatty has plenty of tricks up his sleeve." After saying that, Fatso charged at the assassin again. Swoosh! The assassin disappeared without a trace again. Seeing this scene, many people frowned. The assassin's concealment technique was too terrifying. With such a terrifying concealment technique, it would not be easy for Fatso to discover him. Therefore, in many people's opinion, there was no suspense in this battle. Wah! Suddenly, Fatso let out a sharp, ear-piercing cry. Many people felt as if their heads were about to split open when they heard Fatso's cry. With Fatso as the center, terrifying shockwaves spread out in all directions. Fatso used an extremely powerful soundwave attack. Bam! The assassin who was hiding in the void was forced out. This damned Fatso has some tricks up his sleeve. Gongziyu said. Lin Feng said, "Don't underestimate this guy. He's actually very powerful." Fatso said proudly, "Shorty, you have nowhere to hide now, right? Take another punch from Lord Fatty." Fatso swung his fist at the assassin. Whoosh! However, the assassin's speed was too fast. With a slight movement, he dodged Fatso's attack. Fatso punched the assassin again and again, but he could not even touch the assassin's clothes. Among all the martial arts in the world, only speed is unbeatable. Fatso's speed is too slow compared to the assassin. He can't even touch the assassin. How can he fight this battle? Yeah, I think Fatso will definitely lose this battle. Many cultivators discussed among themselves. The assassin also looked at Fatso with a mocking expression. Whoosh! His body flashed and disappeared without a trace as if he had teleported. The next moment, he appeared behind Fatso and chopped at Fatso's neck with his palm. This attack was very powerful. If it hit Fatty, he would have been struck by it. Fatso would immediately lose his ability to fight. Fatso is going to be defeated. The assassin's speed is too fast. It's normal for Fatso to be defeated. Many people whispered as they looked at the assassin with deep fear in their eyes. The assassin's attack landed on Fatso's body, but to everyone's surprise. Chapter 2387. How is this possible? The assassin exclaimed in disbelief. What he had hit was only an afterimage. He did not even realize that he had hit an afterimage. He had always thought that he had hit Fatso. The rest of the people were also shocked. No one realized how Fatso had disappeared. And after disappearing, an afterimage was left behind. How fast did he have to be to do that? Just thinking about it gave people a feeling of disbelief. But all of this was real. The assassin knew that he had underestimated Fatso. He wanted to use his stealth technique to hide himself in the void. He wanted to avoid Fatso's attack, but Fatso had already appeared behind the assassin. He threw a punch. The assassin's expression changed. It was no longer realistic to try to dodge. Therefore, he could only choose to fight Fatso head-on. The assassin swung his fist at Fatso. Bang! Both sides collided. Fatso, who had gathered his strength for a strike, displayed his powerful strength and sent the assassin flying with one punch. Crack, crack. The assassin's arm was broken. Ahaha. Now you know how powerful I, Lord Fatty, am? Fatty laughed out loud in a very pleased manner. Whoosh. Fatso moved quickly. His speed was unbelievably fast. It was so fast that it shocked and moved people. He was like a human-shaped lightning bolt that charged at the assassin. The assassin's speed was also very fast, but compared to Fatso, he was still much slower. What the? Many people rolled their eyes when they saw this. Usually, when people who were fat were mentioned, the first thing that came to mind was slow and clumsy. However, although Fatso was fat, he was extraordinarily fast and very agile. He was simply a different kind of person from Fatso. The assassin's speed was crushed by Fatso. Bang, bang, bang. Fatso threw 3 consecutive punches. The assassin could not withstand Fatso's attack and had his magic dispersed by Fatso. He was defeated in the end. Ha 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 ha. You let me win. You let me win. Fatso revealed an amiable expression and said with a smile after obtaining victory. The assassin ignored Fatso. After recovering some of his magic power, he quickly flew down. Fatso is with the donkey. He's also a wolf in sheep's clothing. What do you mean by pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger? He is a pig to begin with. Many people began to slander him. Fatso flew down from the ring. The battle continued. Whoosh! Half an hour later, a beam of light swept out from one of the stages and wrapped around Lin Feng. The next moment, Lin Feng was teleported onto the stage. After Lin Feng was teleported to the ring, the other cultivator was also teleported onto the arena. The cultivator appeared very young, and he wore golden robes. It was as though a sun had been born from his body. His entire body was bathed in the divine light of the sun. Lin Feng is going up. This Lin Feng's methods are extraordinary. He might be able to enter the top 20. Lin Feng's opponent is actually this person. This is going to be troublesome. Who is that person? Is he very powerful? Someone immediately asked. The cultivator who recognized Lin Feng's opponent said, that person is a cultivator from the Qinwu people. His name is Jin Wuxia. This person's golden crow bloodline is extremely powerful. 300 years ago, I once saw this person challenge and defeat a powerhouse of the giant god realm. Heavens, he was already so powerful 300 years ago. How terrifying would he be now? Many people could not help but exclaim. However, they soon became extremely excited. The stronger Jin Wuxia was, this battle would become even more exciting, and the spectators were naturally looking forward to seeing such a thing happen. On the stage, after seeing Jin Wuxia, Lin Feng knew that this person was a cultivator from the Qinwu people. The Qinwu people were now very powerful overseas. Lin Feng knew that the Qinwu people had a close relationship with the heavenly demon emperor's son. The Tao protector by the side of the sky demon emperor's son could be described as unfathomable. That protector. He was a powerhouse of the Qinwu people. I didn't expect to meet you so early. Jin Wuxia sneered as he looked at Lin Feng. A hint of mockery flashed in his eyes. Lin Feng said indifferently, What? Do you want to meet me that much? Killing you can be considered as helping His Highness solve a problem. Jin Wuxia said indifferently, His Highness? The heavenly demon emperor's son? Lin Feng looked at Jin Wuxia in surprise. Is that strange? In the past, the Golden Crow clan was the heavenly demon emperor's right-hand man. Now that the heavenly demon emperor's second son has been born, the Golden Crow clan will naturally assist the heavenly demon emperor's son. His Highness will definitely reach the same heights as the heavenly demon emperor in the future. When that happens, the Golden Crow clan will return to the glory of the immortal era. Jin Wuxia said with an indifferent expression, It seems that the Qinwu people aren't as good as they used to be. If I remember correctly, the Qinwu people were the descendants of the demon emperor, Dijun, right? Now, they have to follow someone else. Each generation is worse than the last. Lin Feng pursed his lips. What do you know? The Kinwu people were at their most glorious when they followed the Heavenly Demon Emperor. The Heavenly Demon Emperor was one of the strongest existences among the immortals. I can't be bothered to waste my breath on you. Hand over your life. Jin Wuxia sneered and leaped toward Lin Feng. Whoosh! In midair, Jin Wuxia turned into a streak of cold golden light. Emperor Jin's heaven-shattering slash. His deep voice resounded through the heavens. This divine ability was infused with the Tao of the Golden Emperor. This was because the Tao of the Golden Emperor focused on offense. Therefore, this divine ability possessed incomparably powerful destructive power. In an instant, the streak of cold golden light arrived in front of Lin Feng and slashed toward him. It seemed like it wanted to cut Lin Feng in half. Humph! Lin Feng couldn't help but snort coldly and send a palm strike toward the streak of cold golden light. Bang! Along with that fierce blow, Lin Feng's strike struck the streak of cold golden light. But to everyone's astonishment, when Lin Feng's strike struck the streak of cold golden light that Jin Wuxia had transformed into, the streak of cold golden light that Jin Wuxia had transformed into wasn't repelled by Lin Feng. What made everyone's hair stand on end was that the streak of cold golden light that Jin Wuxia had transformed into actually shot out countless streaks of golden sword energy. Those streaks of sword energy were practically endless, and their power was so terrifying that it was suffocating. So many streaks of sword energy, at such a close distance, were all aimed at Lin Feng. In the face of such a violent and domineering attack, Lin Feng had nowhere to run. Lin Feng won't be cut into pieces by those 10,000 streaks of sword energy, right? Many people couldn't help but cry out in alarm. Chapter 2388. Jin Wuxia's attack was simply too sudden, and it was also sufficiently terrifying. Thus, many people felt that Lin Feng would not be able to withstand this attack. Just as the sword Qi was about to strike Lin Feng suddenly stopped. Layers of defensive crystal walls appeared in front of Lin Feng. These were the defensive crystal walls formed by the Great Defensive Art. They possessed extremely powerful defensive capabilities. Clang, clang, clang. When the sword Qi slammed into the defensive crystal wall, the defensive crystal wall was destroyed. In an instant, a series of muffled collision sounds could be heard. Every time a collision occurred, a deafening sound could be heard. Although Jin Wuxia's attack was powerful, it was unable to break through the defensive system constructed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng took advantage of this opportunity to step forward and punch at Jin Wuxia. Jin Wuxia grabbed at Lin Feng. Bang! The two sides collided once more. Then, both of them retreated. Jin Wuxia was truly powerful. He was actually not at a disadvantage in his clash with Lin Feng. Lin Feng did not stop. He stepped forward in the void. Several deep voices echoed across the heavens and earth. The river of death runs through the ages. Countless souls will be sucked into it. They are destined to become undead in the river of death. As Lin Feng's voice rang out, a series of loud rumbles resounded throughout the world. A river of death flew out. The river of death descended from the sky and enveloped Jin Wuxia within. Originally, Lin Feng had only cultivated the great death art to the realm of greater mastery. He was unable to unleash many of its mysteries. However, a few months ago, Lin Feng had entered the netherworld and gained a deeper understanding of the mysteries of death. Thus, the great death art had reached the realm of perfection. Once the art reached perfection, it would transform into all sorts of wondrous aspects. Numerous gods of death appeared in the river of death. Wielding their scythes, they charged at Jin Wuxia. Behind the Grim Reaper was a dense army of undead creatures. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The undead army surged in the river of death, as if they wanted to rush out of the river of death and conquer the world. What divine ability is this? Such a powerful death aura? What kind of divine ability could be so terrifying? Many people couldn't help but exclaim. Many people were astonished when they saw Lin Feng's skill. Could this be the legendary Great Death Art? A cultivator said aloud. The Great Death Art was a peerless technique. 3,000 Great Das. He was very famous. Many people had heard of the Great Death Art before, But those who had truly seen the great death art before were as rare as phoenix feathers and Chelan horns, because he had never seen it before. So when they saw the great death spell, he also didn't know that this divine ability was originally the great death technique. Is this the great death spell? What a terrifying ability. He can summon a river of death, and the river of death condenses a death god and an army of dead souls. If that's really the great death technique, Lin Feng must have already practiced it to a very high level. Countless cultivators were shocked. Bang! Jin Wuxia was unable to withstand the attacks of the death god and the undead army, and he was blasted flying. Barf! He coughed out large mouthfuls of blood in midair. His expression turned extremely gloomy. Jin Wuxia had rich combat experience. He knew that he couldn't stay in the river of death any longer. He had to leave the river of death as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to move forward. Jin Wuxia turned around and rushed out. He wanted to escape the river of death. However, it wasn't an easy task. Roar! A loud dragon roar resounded through heaven and earth as numerous death dragons condensed and sealed off Jin Wuxia's escape route. Jin Wuxia was trapped in the river of death. What a powerful divine ability! Jin Wuxia is in trouble. Seeing Jin Wuxia trapped in the river of death, the expressions of the spectators turned solemn. Lin Feng's divine ability was simply too powerful. Everyone stared unblinkingly at the battle on the stage, afraid that they would miss a single scene. Among the crowd, the heavenly demon emperor's son looked over with a cold expression. Beside him was the beautiful demonic woman and more than 20 cultivators. They were most likely the heavenly demon emperor's son's followers. Some of them were cultivators of the Qinwu people like Jin Wuxia. Cold killing intent flashed through the heavenly demon emperor's son's eyes from time to time. He hated Lin Feng to the bone. Not far away, Mu Xianling looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. The stronger Lin Feng was, the more uncomfortable she felt. Mu Xianling was so powerful that Lin Feng had died at Jin Wuxia's hands. But now, Lin Feng had the upper hand. Gong Ziyu, Fatso, and Little Donkey all wore calm expressions. They had full confidence in Lin Feng. Only Chu Yaxuan looked at Lin Feng with great concern, afraid that something would happen to Lin Feng. Humph! I'll let you have a taste of my power today. Jin Wuxia sneered. Rumble. A loud sound was heard. A divine sun slowly rose into the sky. It was a divine sun. It illuminated the world. It emitted an extremely scorching light. It was as if the sun from beyond the 9 heavens had descended upon the world. The scorching divine sun chased away all darkness. Yin and Yang countered each other. Lin Feng's great death technique was countered by this divine ability of Jin Wuxia's. The undead army was dissipating. The massive body of the death dragon also began to dismember. The death gods roared in anger, but they could not resist the fate of their bodies being destroyed. Divine sun rising illuminates the world. This is an ability passed down from the Qinwu people's bloodline. It's extremely terrifying. It's a perfect counter to Lin Feng's divine ability. A cultivator recognized this divine ability and could not help but exclaim. Lin Feng's river of death also began to crumble. Jin Wuxia could not help but reveal a smug expression. However, at this moment, Lin Feng made his move again. He directly formed the true dragon seal. Roar! A massive true dragon was formed, and its roar shook the heavens. The true dragon opened its mouth and took a deep breath. The divine sun was instantly swallowed by the true dragon. True dragon swallows the sun. In the legends, the true dragon could swallow the sun. The true dragon formed by Lin Feng's true dragon seal countered Jin Wuxia's divine ability. Everything in the world reinforced and countered each other. There was no such thing as absolute invincibility. True dragon swings its tail. After the true dragon swallowed Jin Wuxia's divine sun, it swung its massive tail at Jin Wuxia. Along with the sound of a violent collision, there was a loud sound. Jin Wuxia was sent flying by the impact. Crack, crack. The sound of bones cracking could be heard from Jin Wuxia's body. It was unknown how many of his bones had been broken. Lin Feng flew out like a bolt of lightning, grabbed Jin Wuxia's head, and exerted a little force. Uffed! Blood spurted out. Jin Wuxia's head was plucked off by Lin Feng. The headless corpse fell from the sky. Chapter 2389. Jin Wuxie is dead. I didn't expect Jin Wuxie to die just like that. This Lin Feng is really too powerful. If nothing unexpected happens, he will definitely be able to enter the top 20 of the prodigy list. Top 20? I think it's even possible for him to enter the top 10. It's not that easy to enter the top 10. Anyway, I don't think he can enter the top 10. At most, he'll be in the top 20, maybe between 20 and 30. After seeing Lin Feng kill Jin Wuxie, everyone started to talk about their opinions. Many people were discussing Lin Feng's final ranking. Naturally, everyone expressed their opinions. Some people were more optimistic about Lin Feng and felt that Lin Feng could enter the top 10. Some people were not optimistic about Lin Feng and felt that Lin Feng's ranking would be around 20 or 30 or even lower. The reason they thought so was because Lin Feng had not encountered the top experts yet. For example, the top geniuses who came out of the stone materials. If he encountered those abnormal fellows, would Lin Feng be able to defeat them? Lin Feng flew down from the arena. As soon as Lin Feng flew down, Mu Xianling was enveloped by a beam of light. Then, Mu Xianling was teleported to the arena. Because her ranking was one rank higher than Lin Feng's, it would be Mu Xianling's turn after Lin Feng's turn. Mu Xianling's opponent this time was a female cultivator. She was a female disciple of the Red Dust Immortal sect called Li Tingzhu. This female cultivator had been keeping a low profile before. In addition, she was not particularly beautiful, so she did not attract much attention. However, this female cultivator was very strong. Now that it was the elimination round for the top 125, this female cultivator did not hide her cultivation level anymore. Although Lin Feng was quite disgusted by Mu Xianling, he had to admit that she was indeed very strong. She and Li Tingzhu began to fight. Both of them were very skilled in the use of divine abilities. All kinds of powerful divine abilities were simply at their fingertips. The battle between the two of them was very intense. In the end, Mu Xianling won by half a move against Li Tingzhu. After Mu Xianling came down, one cultivator after another went up the ring to fight. Soon, Gongziyu also stepped into the ring. Gongziyu's opponent this time was a young angel. Angels were a very powerful race, but they were quite rare nowadays. This angel cultivator had a total of 36 pairs of wings. When the 36 pairs of wings spread out, beams of divine light surged out. The angel elite was shrouded in holy light. He was like an immortal god, exuding a majestic aura. Is that Gongziyu? Rumor has it that he is the son of the heavenly demon emperor. His cultivation can be described as unfathomable. Previously, I thought that Gongziyu would be able to enter the top 10, but now, I'm afraid it will be difficult. His opponent is a 36-winged angel, and Gongziyu is a member of the heavenly demon race. He will be suppressed by the angel. All living things reinforce and restrain each other. Gongziyu will indeed be restrained. This battle will be quite troublesome for Gongziyu. Someone said. Many people were pointing and discussing. They were not optimistic about Gongziyu's chances of winning this battle. Chu Yashuan said, Gongziyu is probably going to be in trouble, right? Will he be defeated? Lin Feng said, he will indeed be restrained by the angel cultivator, but we don't know how strong that angel cultivator is. If he is too strong, Gongziyu will indeed be in trouble. Lin Feng couldn't directly say whether Gongziyu would win or lose. This was because he didn't know much about the angel cultivator. However, Lin Feng had heard that the more wings an angel had, the stronger they would be. The angel cultivator in front of him had 36 pairs of wings. He was definitely a very tyrannical character. Therefore, Lin Feng couldn't help but worry about Gongziyu. Gongziyu, I've heard of you. You are the son of the heavenly demon emperor. You have powerful demon blood flowing in your veins. In the previous battles, you were almost invincible. You were able to easily advance to the next round because you didn't meet me. Now that you have met me, your road to advancement will come to an end. The angel cultivator said with an indifferent expression. He didn't put Gongziyu in his eyes at all. Ahaha, ahaha. Little Donkey cried out twice and said, this guy is really arrogant. He's even more arrogant than me. Fatso said, this guy has so many wings. His cultivation must be very tyrannical. It's not without reason that he's so arrogant. Gongziyu walked step by step toward the angel cultivator. He said with an indifferent expression, "Is that so? Today, I'd like to experience the divine ability of the angel race." Holy light. The angel cultivator sneered. He didn't say anything else and directly used the powerful divine ability passed down by the angel race. This divine ability condensed an endless amount of holy light. The holy light seemed to be able to dispel all darkness and evil. Gongziyu was a heavenly demon. The heavenly demon represented darkness, coldness, and evil. It was completely opposite to the holy light. When the holy light descended, the black fog around Gongziyu was ignited. Light dispels darkness. Holy light dispels evil. You will turn into dust in the flames. The angel cultivator walked towards Gongziyu. More and more holy light surged out of his body. The holy light was like fuel. The black fog around Gongziyu burned more and more fiercely. The holy light was burning. The black fog was only ignited by the holy light. When the black fog was completely burned away, the holy light would ignite Gongziyu's body. Gongziyu's current situation could be said to be very dangerous. They've just started fighting, but Gongziyu is already suppressed. There shouldn't be any suspense in this battle, right? Gongziyu is such a powerful person, but he doesn't even have the strength to resist. Who told Gongziyu to be restrained by the angel cultivator? Many people exclaimed when they saw the battle in the arena. They had thought that Gongziyu would lose. However, they all thought that even if Gongziyu was really defeated, it would still be possible. Both sides had experienced an intense battle before they were defeated. Unlike the current situation, where Gongziyu was completely suppressed after just exchanging blows. Gongziyu, I've already said that your path of advancement will come to an end after meeting me. If you surrender, you will suffer less physical pain. The angel cultivator flapped his 36 pairs of wings and looked indifferently at Gongziyu, who was surrounded by raging flames. It's still not certain who will win. At that moment, Gongziyu suddenly opened his eyes. 2 cold rays of light flashed in his eyes. Chapter 2390. Swish, swish. 2 cold beams of light shot out from Gongziyu's eyes, piercing through the blazing flames and heading towards the angel race cultivator. Oomph! The angel race cultivator snorted and waved his hand, condensing an illusory world. That illusory world instantly swallowed the 2 cold beams of light that shot out from Gongziyu's eyes. In the end, the 2 cold beams of light destroyed the illusory world. But because the energy dissipated, the 2 cold beams of light, they also disappeared. But at this moment, Gongziyu had already seized the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He directly tore apart the blazing holy light and quickly escaped. It's useless. No matter how you struggle, you can't escape the envelopment of the holy light. The angel race cultivator's cold voice sounded. More holy light surged out of his body. The holy light filled the entire arena. The entire area covered by the arena was burning fiercely. Gongziyu couldn't avoid it. This birdman is quite capable. Fatso smacked his lips and said, "This guy shouldn't be talking bad." He actually called the angel race cultivator a birdman. Fortunately, the angel race cultivator didn't hear it. If he did, he would definitely fight Fatso to the death. In the arena, the holy light burned. Gongziyu was once again enveloped by flames. There seemed to be only one way out now, and that was to take the initiative to admit defeat. If he continued to stay in the arena, the burning holy light would sooner or later cause serious damage to Gongziyu. The cultivators who were watching the show also felt that there was basically no suspense in this battle. Gongziyu was being suppressed too much. But at this moment, Gongziyu's body emitted a terrifying fluctuation. Gongziyu opened his mouth and suddenly sucked. Whoosh, whoosh. A powerful suction force surged out. The raging flames that enveloped the entire arena were swallowed by Gongziyu in a single gulp. This demon-swallowing sun and moon divine ability was really terrifying. There seemed to be nothing that Gongziyu could not devour. Now, it's your turn to receive my ultimate move. Gongziyu looked at the angel race cultivator indifferently. Great Sun Devil Immortal. Gongziyu let out a long roar. His hands continuously formed seals, and an ancient existence appeared behind Gongziyu. A great sun floated behind this being. The sun emitted an incomparably scorching light. That powerful existence was like a demon and a god. It was actually a fiend immortal. Demonic immortals were terrifying demonic Tao experts who cultivated the demonic Tao and became immortals. After becoming an immortal, he would cultivate both immortal and demonic cultivation. His strength improved by leaps and bounds. Even among immortals, they were the top existences. The Great Sun Devil Immortal was an ancient divine ability that could create a devil immortal phantom. It could kill gods, immortals, and devils. He was invincible. After the demonic immortal phantom appeared, it sent a palm strike towards the angel race cultivator. In that instant, heaven and earth seemed to have frozen. Countless spectating cultivators had the urge to prostrate themselves in worship towards the Great Sun Devil Immortal. Many people were shocked. The divine ability that Gongziyu used was really too terrifying. It was simply shocking to the soul. The angel race cultivator naturally knew how powerful this ultimate move was. His originally smug expression turned extremely solemn. Divine judgment. However, the angel race cultivator was not to be outdone. He also used a powerful ultimate move. This divine judgment was the top divine ability of the angel race. It condensed divine power to judge all living beings in the world against evil cultivators. It was also their natural nemesis. However, the Great Sun Devil Immortal that Gongziyu used was really powerful. This divine ability was a divine ability that both immortals and demons cultivated, so it could not be simply defined as an evil divine ability. Therefore, the angel race cultivator's divine judgment was unable to truly suppress Gongziyu's divine ability. Instead, it was Gongziyu's divine ability that broke the angel race cultivator's divine judgment. After the divine judgment was broken, the Great Sun Devil Immortal's palm struck the angel race cultivator. The angel race cultivator was directly sent flying as if he was struck by lightning. Wah! The angel race cultivator vomited large mouthfuls of blood. His face was as pale as paper. He fell onto the arena and no longer had the strength to fight. Gongziyu actually won. Many people still had an expression of disbelief. This result was completely out of everyone's expectations. Gongziyu Dual Cultivator, this is too powerful. Someone sighed. Many cultivators who were still participating frowned slightly because they also felt how terrifying Gongziyu was. Naturally, they did not want to meet such a powerful existence like Gongziyu in the following battles. After Gongziyu went down, the competition continued. A day later, Little Donkey went up the arena. It's this donkey again. Many people couldn't help but call out after seeing Little Donkey speechlessly. Little Donkey, this weirdo, naturally left a deep impression on everyone. Heavenly Donkey Holy Venerable has appeared. Where are the cheers? Little Donkey asked loudly. Sure, this guy didn't get cheers, but boos from countless cultivators. There was a saying that one who was shameless was invincible. It was referring to Little Donkey. He actually dared to name himself Heavenly Donkey Holy Venerable. How could his skin be so thick? Little Donkey's opponent was a beautiful female cultivator with big eyes who looked very cute and innocent. But this female cultivator's strength was not simple. The two sides fought for 300 rounds before Little Donkey finally defeated the female cultivator. Then, he flew down while panting. Pervert, truly perverted. This guy was still muttering to himself. In the last 10 battles, there were no upsets. The cultivators in the top 10 of the rankings all defeated their opponents and advanced to the next round. As a result, thus, the top 125 were decided. Because the prodigy roll only ranked the top 100. So, another 25 cultivators had to be eliminated. Only then could the prodigy roll be confirmed. I think there's going to be a battle royale. I heard that there's a big battle royale for the top 100 from 125. The first 25 people to be eliminated will be eliminated, and the rest will enter the prodigy roll. Fatso whispered. This was the rule in the past, and it had been in place for many years. So Fatso guessed that it would be the same this year. If there was a big battle royale, the cultivators who were left alone would be in the most danger. Because the cultivators who were left alone would easily become the target of others' attacks. They were also the cultivators who were the easiest to be eliminated. Chapter 2391. The revised rules lifted the spirits of many people. Many people were unwilling to participate in the Battle Royale, because all kinds of unpredictable things could happen in the Battle Royale. Even if one's strength was superior to others, in such a large-scale Battle Royale, one might be besieged by others and eventually defeated. This situation had happened many times in the past. Now that the rules had been changed, everyone was naturally very happy and didn't have to worry about those things anymore. Everyone, rest for 2 hours. After 2 hours, we will begin to challenge the giant god of light and shadow, Master Dongfeng said. Everyone began to take the time to rest and adjust their state. 2 hours passed quickly. Swish, 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 beams of light shone out, enveloping the cultivators one after another. All of the cultivators who were enveloped by the light were teleported to the arena. Everyone has 2 hours. Everyone, do your best to defeat the giant god of light and shadow. You don't have to defeat the most of them, but you must defeat more than the other 25 people because only 25 people will be eliminated in this round. Master Dongfeng said loudly. As soon as his voice fell, beams of divine light surged out of the void. Giant god of light and shadow. Giant god of light and shadow. Deep roars could be heard from within the divine light. Immediately after, one by one, the giant gods of light and shadow descended. 10 giant gods of light and shadow descended from each of the arenas. The cultivation of these giant gods of light and shadow was very tyrannical. Each giant god of light and shadow had the strength of the giant god realm, and they were at the peak of the giant god realm. Now, 10 giant gods of light and shadow descended on each arena together. These cultivators were about to be besieged by the 10 giant gods of light and shadow. The slightest carelessness would lead to defeat. Boom! A great battle broke out. The giant gods of light and shadow fought with those cultivators. The cultivators who could finally kill their way into the top 125 were naturally extraordinary and had abnormally tyrannical cultivation. And basically, they all had their own trump cards. Therefore, even in the face of the siege of the 10 giant gods of light and shadow, many people were still at ease. But it was definitely impossible to deal with these giant gods of light and shadow at ease. They needed to defeat the giant gods of light and shadow with the momentum of a thunderbolt. Therefore, many cultivators adopted the posture of the main attack. Round after round of the competition began. Groups of cultivators ascended the arena to challenge the giant gods of light and shadow. The cultivators with good results were naturally overjoyed. The faces of the cultivators whose results were not ideal became extremely ugly. Swish! 10 beams of light swept over, once again enveloping the 10 cultivators. Fatso took the stage. A fierce battle ensued. Fatso ultimately defeated 132 giant gods of light and shadow. Their results were quite good. Among all the participants who had finished the competition, Fatso was at the top. After the Fatso group was finished, it was Lin Feng's turn. Lin Feng defeated a total of 197 giant gods of light and shadow. Mu Xianling, who was in the same group as Lin Feng, defeated 86 light and shadow gods. Seeing that Lin Feng had defeated so many giant gods of light and shadow, Mu Xianling's expression turned ugly. Lin Feng completely ignored Mu Xianling. He didn't even look at her. Groups of cultivators went up the ring. Gong Ziyu and Little Donkey also went up the ring. Gong Ziyu defeated 235 giant gods of light and shadow. Little Donkey defeated 244 giant gods of light and shadow. After the competition ended, the rankings were also out. The first place was still that mysterious little girl, who had defeated 388 giant gods of light and shadow. Ranked second was Qing Emperor. He defeated 309 giant gods of light and shadow. Ranked third was the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son. He defeated 295 giant gods of light and shadow. Lin Feng was ranked 36th. This was an average ranking. Fatso was ranked 49th. Gongzi was ranked 23rd. Little Donkey was ranked 16th. The 25 cultivators who were ranked last were eliminated. These cultivators' expressions were extremely ugly. They had been advancing triumphantly all the way here. They were about to advance to the prodigy role, but they fell at the last step. But no matter how unwilling they were, they couldn't change all of this. And the 100 people who successfully made it to the prodigy role were naturally overjoyed. Making it to the prodigy role meant that they had the qualifications to enter the 9 states immortal realm. Next, they had to do their best to increase their rankings. The higher their rankings, the more rewards they received, and the providence obtained would be even more majestic. Congratulations to everyone for successfully advancing to this year's prodigy role. Next, we will rank the prodigy role. In the final ranking competition, there will be no seeded contestants. Instead, you will draw lots to determine your opponents. The ranking competition adopts the principle of elimination. 50 from 100 will advance, and the losers will not fight again. The losers' rankings will be calculated based on the time they have spent fighting. The longer the losers persist, the closer their rankings will be, and so on. The rules for the later rounds of 50 will be the same for 25, and 25 will be the same for 13. However, in the round of 25 to 13, one person will advance directly. As for who will advance, they will have to draw lots to decide. There will also be one person who will advance to the 7th stage, but the rules of this round are slightly changed. Those who advance will prepare to participate in the battle for the 4th stage of the 7th stage, while the 6 who are eliminated will draw lots to fight. The 3 who win will fight in a mixed battle. The first to fall will be ranked 10th, and the last to fall will be ranked 8th. Because there are 93 places in this round, if the contestants can't advance to the top 7, they can't slack off. They must work hard to enter the top 10, because the rewards for the top 10 are not comparable to the rewards for the top 10. Among the top 7, one person will advance to the next round. The other 6 will compete for 3 spots to determine the top 4. The 3 who lose will compete for the 5th, 6th, and 7th places. This round is the same as the 80th and 90 places. It will also be a mixed battle. The first to fall will be ranked 7th, and the last to fall will be ranked 5th. After the top 4, they will draw lots to decide who will enter the finals. The 2 who lose will compete for the 3rd and 4th place. Dongfang Zhentian began to introduce the rules of the ranking competition. The rules were quite complicated, but it was easy to understand. Everyone, come on stage and draw lots, Dongfang Zhentian said. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One cultivator after another flew towards the main arena where Dongfang Zhentian was. Then, they began to draw lots. Lin Feng took out a bamboo stick. There was a pattern on it, but there was no name. Lin Feng guessed that this pattern was a kind of mark. It represented the identity of the opponent. They could only wait until the battle began. Only then would they know who their opponent was. Everyone finished drawing lots. Then, everyone flew back into the distance. Swoosh, 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 beams of light shone down, enveloping the cultivators. The first batch of 20 cultivators were all teleported to the corresponding arena. Chapter 2392. Little Donkey's opponent made Lin Feng very surprised. It was actually Mu Xianling. Fatso grinned. Isn't this the little girl from the Mu clan? She's always acting so high and mighty. It's really annoying. Now that brother Donkey has met her, it'll be interesting. Lin Feng nodded, but he didn't say anything. Lin Feng didn't have a good impression of Mu Xianling, so he didn't care about her. The cultivators fighting now were all cultivators on the prodigy roll. In the entire 9 provinces, this group of people should be the strongest among the younger generation. Therefore, everyone had a trump card, and everyone knew many powerful divine abilities. Now that they were fighting, it was hard to tell who would win. Mu Xianling launched a frenzied attack on Little Donkey. She naturally knew Little Donkey and knew that Little Donkey and Lin Feng had a close relationship. Therefore, she didn't show any mercy. Hundreds of millions of terrifying killing lights condensed in Mu Xianling's hands. The terrifying light of slaughter seemed to be able to shatter the heavens and destroy the universe. This divine ability was called the Great Killing Technique. It was one of the 3,000 Great Tao. There are a total of 72 divine abilities in the 3,000 Great Tao. This Great Killing Technique is one of the 72 divine abilities. Its attack power is extremely terrifying. Lin Feng couldn't help but say. He had cultivated more than 20 of the 3,000 Great Tao and was very familiar with them. If any of the 3,000 Great Tao could be cultivated to the Great Perfection realm, They would all display endless magical effects. Mu Xianling's talent was astonishing, and her comprehension was also extremely high. Although she hadn't cultivated the great killing technique to the great perfection realm, she had already cultivated it to the great perfection realm. After cultivating the great killing technique to the great perfection realm, it was already able to display a sufficiently powerful might. Mu Xianling was very confident in her great killing technique. She believed that she could definitely defeat Little Donkey with the great killing technique. When Mu Xianling confidently attacked Little Donkey turned around and suddenly shook his butt. Poof! Poison gas was immediately released. This was Little Donkey's signature move. The power of this unique skill that had a scent was too terrifying. Not only did it contain lethal poison, but it also contained a powerful explosive force. Bang! Along with the sound of an explosion, Little Donkey's smelly attack exploded beside Mu Xianling and sent her flying. Mu Xianling fainted in midair. It was unknown whether he had fainted from the kick or from the poison. There was a thump. Mu Xianling fell onto the stage. Victory and defeat were decided between the two. Damn, that donkey is too savage. Many people couldn't help but cry out. Little Donkey's ability was simply heaven-defying. But soon after, many people began to slander him. The Little Donkey was simply too much of a beast. He had actually used such a disgusting attack to knock out a beautiful woman. Sure enough, it was an animal. He didn't know what it meant to have tender and protective feelings for the fairer sex. I'll kill you. Mu Xianling woke up and almost went crazy when she thought of what had happened. She took out her sword and pounced towards Little Donkey, wanting to kill Little Donkey to vent her anger. Swoosh! But at this moment, a beam of light enveloped Mu Xianling and teleported her down. Mu Xianling had already been defeated, so she naturally couldn't continue to stay in the arena. You're still not convinced after losing. You're simply a shrew. Little Donkey pursed his lips and said, Come down. I'll definitely kill you. Mu Xianling screamed in exasperation. Master of the East said in a deep voice, This contestant, private battles are prohibited in the ancient city. Otherwise, you will be disqualified from the prodigy role. Hearing Master of the East say this, Mu Xianling naturally didn't dare to continue being rash. Her face was gloomy. She glanced coldly at Little Donkey before putting away her sword. The donkey swaggered down, still looking as arrogant as ever. Fatso said with a smile, Brother Donkey, you're really something. You're the first contestant to defeat your opponent. Little Donkey said proudly, Of course, don't you know who I am? I'm the Heavenly Donkey Sacred Venerable. Heavenly Donkey Sacred Venerable my ass. He only knows how to flatter himself. Many people couldn't help but mutter, looking down on Little Donkey. However, these people naturally didn't dare to say what they were thinking. Little Donkey was very powerful. If they offended Little Donkey, it wouldn't end well for them. The outcome of the battle in the arena was decided one after another. When the cultivators came down, new cultivators were teleported to the arena. Swoosh! A beam of light shone down and enveloped Lin Feng. In the next moment, Lin Feng was teleported to the arena. At the same time, Lin Feng's opponent was teleported onto the battle stage. After seeing his opponent, Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Yuan Ji was actually this person, an expert of the Undying Clan's younger generation. Lin Feng didn't know much about the Undying Clan, but he knew how terrifying this clan was. Of course, Lin Feng and the Undying Clan were no longer related by blood. If there was, it would only be due to grudges. The Undying Clan wanted to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't let the Undying Clan have an easy time. It's really heaven's will. Yuan Ji's lips curled into a cold smile. He wanted to kill Lin Feng very much. First, because as the successor of the Undying Clan, he had the obligation to eliminate the descendants of the exiled. Second, because Lin Feng had many abilities, magic treasures, and wealth, which made Yuan Ji greedy. Yuan Ji wanted to kill Lin Feng and steal his treasures. Yuan Ji had been praying that he would be able to meet Lin Feng. Now that he finally met him, Yuan Ji was very excited. In Yuan Ji's opinion, Lin Feng couldn't even awaken the Undying Clan's divine blood on a deeper level. How could he be a match for him? When the time came, how could he kill Lin Feng? How could he kill Lin Feng? Lin Feng said calmly, Maybe it's just as you said. It's all heaven's will. Have you thought about how you want to die? Yuan Ji sneered. Hee hee, how laughable. In my eyes, the descendants of the exiled are nothing but trash. Lowly bastards, you don't even have the qualifications to carry my shoes, yet you dare to boast to me that I've thought about how I'm going to die? As soon as Yuan Ji finished speaking, he walked toward Lin Feng step by step, emitting a terrifying aura. That's Yuan Ji from the Undying Immortal sect, right? I heard that he's related to the Undying clan. Have you noticed? Yuan Ji and Lin Feng seem to have a deep grudge. I don't know why, but Yuan Ji really wants to kill Lin Feng. Yuan Ji is too terrifying. Lin Feng is also very strong, but compared to Yuan Ji, there's still a gap, right? Yeah. Do you think Lin Feng will really be killed by Yuan Ji? I think it's possible. I think Lin Feng might be killed by Yuan Ji too. Many people couldn't help but discuss. Most of them didn't think Lin Feng would win. Chapter 2393. Yuan Ji's undying bloodline was well known to the world. This person was different from Yuan Yu. They both came from the Undying clan. Yuan Yu was unfathomable and always had a calm appearance. But Yuan Ji was on the other end of the spectrum. He was high profile and liked to be in the limelight. Although the three from the Undying clan had not been in the Undying Immortal sect for a long time, Yuan Ji's personality meant that he was not someone who could stay in the sect and cultivate honestly. So Yuan Ji had been to many places these years and had caused a lot of trouble. He also did not hide his undying bloodline. So Yuan Ji's reputation was extremely resounding. Of course, many cultivators had also heard that Lin Feng was the owner of the undying bloodline. But to many people, so what if Lin Feng had the undying bloodline? It was the same bloodline. There was a huge difference between before and after the Deep Awakening. They could not be mentioned in the same sentence. Even though Lin Feng also had the immortal blood, he had the immortal blood. But Lin Feng was not able to undergo a Deep Awakening. How could he be compared to Yuan Ji? This was also the reason why everyone did not think highly of Lin Feng. Below the stage, the Sky Demon Emperor's son looked over with an indifferent expression. The corner of his mouth curled into a cold, killing intent. He could not help but ponder. I originally wanted to kill you personally, but I never thought that the Undying clan would beat me to it. What a pity. It seems that I will have to find a chance to kill the Undying clan in order to obtain the Heaven Flame, magic treasure, divine ability, and endless wealth on your body. The person who wanted to kill Lin Feng the most would definitely be the Sky Demon Emperor's son. Not to mention the grudges between the two. Just the Heaven Flame on Lin Feng's body was enough for the Sky Demon Emperor to covet. So Lin Feng had long been on the Sky Demon Emperor's son's must-kill list. Mu Xianling looked at Lin Feng with a cold expression. The corner of her mouth could not help but reveal a cold smile. In her opinion, Lin Feng would definitely not be able to escape this calamity. She didn't think that Lin Feng was a match for Yuan Ji. Gong Ziyu, Fatso, and Little Donkey all looked relaxed. Gong Ziyu and Lin Feng used to be old rivals. Now, they were like friends, but not friends. He understood Lin Feng very well because he understood Lin Feng. Only then did Gong Ziyu realize how terrifying Lin Feng was. Back when Lin Feng was still very weak, no one could kill him. Let alone now? The only one who was worried about Lin Feng was Chu Yashuan. In Chu Yashuan's eyes, Yuan Ji was an undefeatable existence. Therefore, Chu Yashuan was very worried about Lin Feng's safety. On the stage, the aura emitted from Yuan Ji's body grew stronger and stronger, more and more terrifying. That aura was suffocating. Yuan Ji's strength was indeed shocking, but Yuan Ji wanted to use his aura to suppress Lin Feng. That was a good idea, but when Yuan Ji released his qi towards Lin Feng was startled. Lin Feng was completely fine. He couldn't help but sneer. Clown, kneel on the ground now and kowtow 10 times to Master Feng. Then, crawl over and lick Master Feng's shoes clean. Master Feng will spare your life today. Otherwise, next year today will be the anniversary of your death. When Lin Feng said that, Lin Feng's expression changed. The surroundings suddenly became completely silent. Just now, many people were discussing how many moves Lin Feng could take from Yuan Ji. or whether Lin Feng would be killed by Yuan Ji. Very few people thought that Lin Feng could defeat Yuan Ji. But now, Lin Feng opened his mouth. His words were full of contempt and disdain for Yuan Ji. He didn't put Yuan Ji in his eyes at all. Isn't this guy too arrogant? He's even more arrogant than little donkey beside him. Isn't he courting death by being so arrogant in front of Yuan Ji? It was as if a pot of boiling water had exploded. Yuan Ji was a member of the Undying clan, an ancient and powerful clan. Looking down on Yuan Ji like this, it would definitely anger Yuan Ji. In many people's eyes, angering Yuan Ji would result in a miserable outcome. Kid, you only know how to talk. Yuan Ji sneered. Yuan Ji smiled coldly. He wasn't angry because of Lin Feng's words. He walked towards Lin Feng and released a destructive energy which seemed like it could destroy the earth and sky. Moon embracing seal. Suddenly, Yuan Ji attacked, and a huge moon appeared between his hands. Moon embracing seal was an extremely ancient divine ability, and it was incomparably powerful. Now, it was used by Yuan Ji. Rumble. The moon imprint condensed into a moon and moved towards Lin Feng. It was like a bright moon descending from the 9 heavens. Facing the attack of moon embracing seal, Lin Feng couldn't help but sneer. His body catapulted up. Swish. With a flash of light, Lin Feng directly turned into an 8 trigrams diagram. This was the inheritance of the Celestial Master Sect. As Lin Feng's research on the inheritance of the Celestial Master Sect became more and more thorough, the various divine abilities passed down by the Celestial Master Sect became more and more powerful. For example, the 8 trigrams diagram that Lin Feng used. After he transformed into the 8 trigrams diagram, he felt the power of heaven, earth, thunder, wind, water, fire, mountain, and swamp all gather in the world. It surged into his body. Lin Feng felt as if there was endless power in his body. With a raise of his hand, the sky fell and the earth cracked. A vast and majestic voice sounded between heaven and earth. The 8 trigrams are wrong. Those who count the past will go smoothly. Those who know the future will go against it. The thunder moves, the wind disperses, the rain dampens, and the sun curls. Jin stops, Dui pleases, Qian is the ruler, Kurin is the hiding. The voice sounded like an ancient great emperor roaring at the sky. Everyone felt as if they were in a world of 8 trigrams. Immediately after, everyone saw that the 8 trigrams diagram that Lin Feng had transformed into actually tore the bright moon that Yuan Ji had condensed in half. Then, the 8 trigrams diagram that Lin Feng had transformed into quickly flew to Yuan Ji's side. The 8 trigrams diagram shook gently in the void. The void collapsed. The 8 trigrams diagram slashed towards Yuan Ji as fast as lightning. Heavens, how is this Lin Feng so powerful? Yeah, I didn't expect Lin Feng to be so powerful. Will Yuan Ji be killed by Lin Feng in the end? Seeing this scene, many people couldn't help but exclaim. The scene that everyone saw was completely different from what they had expected. You're digging your own grave. Yuan Ji couldn't help but sneer in the face of Lin Feng's attack. He reached out his hand towards Lin Feng, and an ancient world appeared in his palm. I have the universe in my heart and the world in my palm. The world that Yuan Ji had condensed in his palm enveloped the 8 trigrams diagram that Lin Feng had transformed into. Chapter 2394. Many people were stunned on the spot by this sudden reversal of the transfer. Originally, everyone thought that Lin Feng was going to unleash his might and defeat Yuan Ji in one fell swoop. They never expected that Lin Feng would be devoured by Yuan Ji's world in the next instant. This scene could be said to have caught everyone off guard. So many people were stunned on the spot, not knowing what to do. However, the cultivators who had been watching the show quickly recovered. Now that Lin Feng had been devoured by Yuan Ji's world in the palm, didn't that mean that Lin Feng was doomed? Just wait and see. That brat is dead for sure. Yuan Xia said coldly. He wanted nothing more than to personally kill Lin Feng, but he knew that he was no match for Lin Feng. Yuan Xia had also made it into the prodigy ranking, but his ranking wasn't particularly high. Earlier, when he fought another cultivator, he only lasted a dozen moves before being defeated. His final ranking would probably be around 80th or 90th. Yuanxia was originally very depressed, but when he saw that Lin Feng was about to be killed by Yuan Ji, his mood became much better. Is he finally going to die? He only has himself to blame. Mu Xinling's lips curled into an incomparably cold expression. Lin Feng's death seemed to have allowed her to breathe a sigh of relief. Chu Yashuan's pretty face turned pale. She looked at Gong Ziyu, Fatso, and Little Donkey and said, "Senior brother Lin will be fine, right?" Gong Ziyu, Fatso, and Little Donkey all had calm expressions. Little Donkey said, "Don't worry. If Big Brother Feng was so easy to deal with, he wouldn't have been able to live so freely until now." It was as if he had verified Little Donkey's words. Crack, crack. Yuan Ji's world in the palm began to crack. Yuan Ji's expression changed slightly. His expression became much gloomier. Whoosh. He began to form one incantation after another. Every single one of the incantations was exceptionally profound. Yuan Ji made a series of hand seals. Incantation after incantation. All of them entered the world in his palm. Yuan Ji was reinforcing the world within his palm. Bam! However, at that moment, a violent explosion was heard. The world in his palm shattered. Yuan Ji's attempt to reinforce the world within his palm failed. Lin Feng managed to break free and sent a punch towards Yuan Ji. Wall of darkness. Yuan Ji let out a long roar. His voice was like thunder. A barrier formed by the power of darkness appeared in front of him. This was a defensive divine ability. Yuan Ji had cultivated it to the level of perfection. However, Lin Feng's attack was simply too strong. Even the wall of darkness that Yuan Ji condensed with his defensive god art couldn't stop Lin Feng's attack. The wall of darkness was shattered by Lin Feng's punch. Lin Feng quickly arrived in front of Yuan Ji and sent a powerful punch towards him. Yuan Ji wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. Bam! Lin Feng's punch landed on Yuan Ji's chest. Yuan Ji's chest exploded. Blood spurted out as Yuan Ji was sent flying. Isn't he too strong? Many people cried out in shock. Yuan Ji had actually suffered such a serious injury. Only now did everyone realize that they had underestimated Lin Feng's cultivation base. His cultivation base was much, much stronger than they had imagined. "This injury is nothing to me," Yuan Ji sneered. He channeled his undying divine blood, and his injuries quickly recovered. This was the ability of his undying divine blood. It could heal his body's injuries in a short time. Yuan Ji's undying divine blood was even more powerful than Lin Feng's. His recovery speed was much faster than Lin Feng's. Heavens! But at this moment, many people looked at Yuan Ji in horror. That was because Yuan Ji's body was rapidly aging. In the blink of an eye, Yuan Ji had already turned from a young man to an old man. Lin Feng's punch just now had been infused with the supreme technique, Aeon Billions Years Rush. It could make someone age instantly. As one's body aged, their cultivation base would also decline to the extreme. Yuan Ji's current appearance was the same. His body was aging, and his battle prowess was also weakened to the extreme. Aeon Billions Years Rush was one of Lin Feng's trump cards. Lin Feng didn't know if Yuan Ji was familiar with his divine ability, but even if he knew, he wouldn't have been able to dodge Lin Feng's attack under the circumstances just now. Of course, Lin Feng felt that Yuan Ji might not even know that he had mastered this technique. They had never fought before, and Yuan Ji was incomparably arrogant. He hadn't carefully investigated Lin Feng. This was the biggest difference between him and Yuan Yu. If it were Yuan Yu, she would have a thorough understanding of Lin Feng, including some of the divine abilities that Lin Feng had mastered. During the battle, she would be able to react in time. "I'll take your life while you're sick." Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he quickly charged at Yuan Ji. This was the best opportunity to kill Yuan Ji. If he missed this opportunity, it would be much more difficult to kill Yuan Ji again. Yuan Ji's battle prowess was extremely terrifying, and he also had the immortal divine body. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't know how strong Yuan Ji was at his peak. However, there was one thing that Lin Feng knew very well. At his peak, Yuan Ji was absolutely unimaginably terrifying. Even if he could kill Yuan Ji, he would not be able to. If he could kill Yuan Ji, he would have to pay a heavy price. Yuan Ji had been struck by his Aeon Billions Years Rush. This was the best opportunity to send him to the Yellow Springs. That ancient plate of samsara, the one that supports the operation of the 6 paths of reincarnation in the myriad worlds. Please heed my call and appear. Lin Feng stepped forward in the void. Deep and ancient incantations came out of his mouth. Those were the incantations. They were the incantations to summon the plate of samsara. Apart from Lin Feng, no one else could understand the meaning of those incantations. They were the ancient incantations recorded in the Great Reincarnation Art. The Great Reincarnation Art was one of the 3,000 great Taoists, and it contained many powerful divine abilities. For example, Aeon Billions Years Rush. However, if one were to ask what the strongest divine ability of the Great Reincarnation Art was, it would be to summon the plate of samsara. Rumor had it that there was a plate of samsara in this world. The operation of the plate of samsara supported the 6 paths of reincarnation, and the 6 paths of reincarnation was something that all living beings had to experience. Even immortals had to experience the 6 paths of reincarnation. As Lin Feng's voice faded, above the 9 heavens, boom, 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 a loud sound that shook the heavens was heard. Endless black fog surged out, and within the black fog, a round plate could be vaguely seen. The round plate was ancient, majestic, vast, and heavy. It was the legendary plate of samsara. When they saw the plate of samsara, many people couldn't withstand the pressure of the plate of samsara. Thump, thump. Chapter 2395. The radiance of the plate of reincarnation illuminated the world. It was immortal. Even though they didn't know what it was, countless cultivators were deeply shocked after sensing the aura of the plate of reincarnation. The plate of reincarnation exuded a terrifying divine aura. That terrifying aura permeated the entire area. Now, everyone only had the urge to bow down and worship it as if they were facing an immortal. They had no other thoughts. Summoning the plate of reincarnation was one of Lin Feng's trump cards. Lin Feng rarely used this move in a big battle because summoning the plate of reincarnation consumed too much of his body. It was easy to use up all his dermic powers. His opponent hadn't been killed yet, and his own magic power had already been exhausted. Wasn't that the only path left for him was death? But it was different now. Now that Lin Feng's cultivation had greatly improved compared to before, the dermic powers stored in his dantian were no longer the same as before. Therefore, even if he summoned the plate of reincarnation to fight against the enemy, Lin Feng could still control this peerless supreme technique very well. Moreover now, Lin Feng had to seize this rare opportunity to kill Yuanji. The plate of reincarnation and Aeon time were both supreme techniques included in the Great Reincarnation Technique. These 2 supreme techniques were also connected to each other. Summoning the plate of reincarnation to deal with Yuanji could also form a mysterious connection with the power of reincarnation in Yuanji's body, which would suppress Yuanji even more. It would also be more difficult for Yuanji to counterattack. Rumble, under Lin Feng's control, the plate of reincarnation spun and a terrifying force swept towards Yuanji. Yuanji couldn't avoid it. Bang! With a muffled sound of collision, Yuanji was sent flying. Half of his body exploded. With Lin Feng's current cultivation, the power of summoning the plate of reincarnation and the Great Reincarnation Technique was too strong. Yuanji roared in anger as if he was going crazy. Lin Feng's attack was too strange and too terrifying. He didn't even know how he was injured. Yuanji operated his immortal divine body to recover his physical body. Moke limitless. After recovering from his injuries, Yuanji used a powerful Buddhist magic to condense a huge golden light shield to protect himself. Waves of majestic voices resounded throughout the world. It was as if there were 3,000 old monks sitting cross-legged and reciting Buddhist scriptures. Wheel of Samsara, descend. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he began to summon the plate of reincarnation. Under Lin Feng's command, the plate of samsara descended from the sky and smashed viciously against the defensive barrier that protected Yuanji. Under the attack of the wheel of samsara, the defensive light shield protecting Yuanji directly shattered. As for the reincarnation plate, it suppressed Yuanji in midair. Yuanji tried his best to break free, but he tried many times. None of them succeeded. UNG has been suppressed. Many people were shocked. Now that UNG was suppressed, it was troublesome. How could Lin Feng let UNG go? UNG, you're too arrogant. But you don't have the strength to be arrogant, yet you're still so arrogant. You're overestimating yourself and seeking death. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he stepped forward and attacked UNG. You dare kill me? The immortal clan won't let you go. UNG roared at the top of his lungs. He wanted to use the immortal clan to intimidate Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng didn't care about UNG's threat. Bang! The punch landed on UNG's body. UNG's physical body directly shattered. Ah, I'm immortal. My body regenerates. All that was left of UNG was a bloody mist. However, the bloody mist twisted, trying to reform UNG's body. Many people were shocked when they heard UNG's voice. His body exploded into a bloody mist, yet he was still alive. The immortal clan's ability was too terrifying. It's useless. No matter how you struggle, you won't be able to escape death today. Lin Feng's expression was cold, and his voice was filled with cold killing intent. He flicked his finger. A ball of heavenly fire flew out. It enveloped UNG. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. UNG's body exploded into a bloody mist and burned fiercely. Ah! UNG let out an incomparably shrill scream. Soon, UNG's soul was burned to ashes. All that was left was a storage ring, which Lin Feng put away. UNG died just like that? Countless people looked at each other. They couldn't believe their eyes. UNG was such a powerful figure. Yet, he died just like that. Then, everyone looked at Lin Feng. Their eyes were filled with shock. Originally, many people thought that Lin Feng's strength could only compete for the 20th to 30th place on the genius list. But now, everyone's opinion had changed. With Lin Feng's strength, he could definitely compete for the top 10. Damn it! Damn it! Lin Feng, that little bastard, deserves to die 1,000 times. Yuan Xia's face was filled with killing intent. Beside him, Yuan Yu's expression was calm. Even if Yuan Ji died at Lin Feng's hands, Yuan Yu's expression was as calm as an ancient well. This person hid too deeply. No one knew what he was thinking. Why is it like this? Why is it like this? Mu Xianling couldn't accept the scene in front of her. She wanted to marry a top-notch prodigy. Back then, she felt that Lin Feng wasn't a top genius, so she refused to marry Lin Feng. Mu Xianling hoped that Lin Feng would be killed. That would prove that her choice wasn't wrong. But now, Mu Xianling knew how wrong her choice was. Even if he was the son of the Sky Demon Emperor, Qing Emperor, and the others wouldn't dare say that they could definitely defeat Lin Feng. Everyone looked at Lin Feng with different expressions. They all had different thoughts. Lin Feng took a deep breath, adjusted his qi, and flew back to where he had come from. Ha ha ha, little Feng, you're awesome. Fatso grinned. Brother Feng really is Brother Feng. His strength isn't just for show. The donkey also grinned and said, That's right. Gongziyu said, What a monster. How many years has it been since he came from the martial heaven continent to the 9 prefectures? His cultivation base has increased so much. Lin Feng said, Same here. Didn't your cultivation base increase a lot as well? Gongziyu curled his lip, but didn't say anything else. Chu Yashuan congratulated Lin Feng. Now, she could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Lin Feng and Chu Yashuan were much closer now. Chapter 2396. Not long after Lin Feng came down, Gongziyu was enveloped by a beam of light. The next moment, Gongziyu was teleported to the arena. Gongziyu's opponent was shrouded in a wide black robe and a bamboo hat. Gongziyu frowned slightly as he looked at the man. Young Master Yu, do you still remember the Great Devil World? The cultivator in the bamboo hat set up a soundproof restriction and said aloud. Upon hearing the words Great Devil World, Gongziyu's pupils constricted violently, and his breathing became much heavier. Why are you here? Gongziyu's expression was cold. Someone wants young Master Yu's life, so I'll take care of young Master Yu while I'm at it. The cultivator with the bamboo hat said. Hee hee, don't you think you're boasting shamelessly? Gongziyu said coldly. I know young Master Yu's bloodline is powerful, But I forgot to tell young Master Yu that I obtained some opportunities many years ago, and my bloodline underwent a baptism. Furthermore, I consumed several blood-condensing immortal pills. My bloodline shouldn't be much weaker than young Master Yu's. The cultivator with the bamboo hat said indifferently. What are the two of them muttering about? Fatty's face was filled with confusion. Lin Feng shook his head and said, I don't know. He then frowned and said, Gongzi Yu's expression doesn't look too good. I wonder who that guy with the bamboo hat is? Little Donkey said, could it be an enemy or something? Hearing Little Donkey's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. On the arena, Gongzi Yu said coldly, you want to kill me, but you'll have to suffer my wrath. I'm very confident in dealing with you. The cultivator in the bamboo hat sneered and took a step forward. His body exuded a terrifying wave that could destroy heaven and earth. 9 demon god strikes. Boom, 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 boom. 9 demon gods condensed and charged at Gongzi Yu. The 9 demon gods looked like real demon gods. Each of them had a powerful aura and a terrifying cultivation base. Heavenly demon. Gongzi Yu's opponent is a heavenly demon. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown when he sensed the existence's aura. Chu Yashuan asked curiously, isn't Gongzi Yu a sky fiend? It was said that Gongzi Yu was the son of the heavenly devil emperor. That cultivator wearing a bamboo hat had such a strong killing intent towards Gongzi Yu. How could a heavenly devil dare to kill Gongzi Yu? Isn't that a crime? The heavenly demon emperor's son was the emperor's of the heavenly emperor. Was the prince? A heavenly demon was a subject of the emperor of the emperor. The courtier killed the prince. Wasn't that a crime? Lin Feng said, I'm afraid there's a reason we don't know about this. Gongzi Yu seemed to have escaped from the heavenly demon great world. Fatso said, it seems like something happened in the heavenly demon great world that we don't know about. Also, Gongzi Yu has the magic lotus. The other heavenly demons must be plotting to kill him and steal the magic lotus. The magic lotus, that's a good treasure. Little Donkey's eyes lit up when he heard the words, the magic lotus. Lin Feng pursed his lips and said, don't talk about Gongzi Yu's the magic lotus. Be careful that Gongzi Yu doesn't turn you into donkey meat. If he dares, I'll kill him with my fart. Little Donkey said as he twisted his donkey butt. Lin Feng didn't continue chatting with Little Donkey. He looked at the battle on the stage. At this moment, the 9 demon gods formed by the cultivator with the bamboo hat had already surrounded Gongzi Yu. The 9 demon gods were extremely tyrannical. Under the siege of the 9 demon gods, Gongzi Yu seemed to have encountered some trouble. Young Master Yu, the 9 prefectures will be your burial ground. No matter how you struggle, only death awaits you. The demon god with the bamboo hat said coldly, revealing a murderous intent. Gongzi Yu said coldly, don't be complacent too early. As soon as he finished speaking, Gongzi Yu began to form a series of complicated hand seals. Gongzi Yu was probably going to use some top-tier divine abilities. The magic lotus. Create 10,000 worlds. Gongzi Yu couldn't help but shout. The magic lotus condensed in his hands. This wasn't Gongzi Yu's magic treasure. Instead, it was the magic lotus condensed from a divine ability. The magic lotus was a sacred artifact of the heavenly devil race. It had all kinds of unimaginable abilities and great power. The magic lotus condensed by Gongzi Yu was also very extraordinary. The demonic lotus floated in the air and transformed into one world after another. The magic lotus had created a total of 9 worlds. The 9 worlds descended from the sky and devoured a demon god. Bang, 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 bang. Immediately after, 9 violent explosions were heard. The 9 worlds directly exploded. The 9 demon gods were also blown to smithereens. Damn, Gongzi Yu's technique is so powerful. If you're enveloped by the worlds created by the magic lotus and those worlds explode, even if you don't die, you'll be crippled. Fatso couldn't help but exclaim in shock. Lin Feng nodded and said, Gongzi Yu's ultimate technique is indeed powerful. At this time, Gongzi Yu controlled the magic lotus to attack the cultivator wearing the bamboo hat. Although the magic lotus was only created from a divine ability, it was still very lifelike. It was no different from the magic lotus. Light flashed. The magic lotus began to emit light after light. Every beam of light evolved into a world. Hundreds and thousands of worlds descended from the sky, hurtling toward the cultivator wearing the bamboo hat. Frenzied demon fist art. The cultivator wearing the bamboo hat coldly shouted. He threw punch after punch at the illusory worlds descending from the sky. At this moment, it was as if he had turned into a madman, randomly throwing punches. However, what was even more shocking was that those seemingly random punches actually produced an extraordinarily tyrannical attack. This frenzied demon fist art was said to have been created by an extremely powerful Tianma. That Tianma seemed to have been stimulated by something and created this demon-sealing fist art in a state of insanity. Suppress. Gongziyu shouted. The magic lotus quickly grew larger. Very quickly, it became as large as a mountain. Then, the magic lotus began to suppress the cultivator wearing the bamboo hat. The cultivator wearing the bamboo hat had just shattered the illusory world created by the magic lotus when the magic lotus began to suppress him. The cultivator wearing the bamboo hat was immediately suppressed in the air. Gongziyu quickly rushed over and threw a punch at the cultivator wearing the bamboo hat. However, when Gongziyu's fist landed on the cultivator wearing the bamboo hat, he was shocked. That body actually dissipated directly. Not good, Gongziyu was fooled. Many people couldn't help but be shocked. The body that just dissipated was obviously the cultivator wearing the bamboo hat, condensed to deceive Gongziyu. However, he managed to deceive Gongziyu by passing off false as genuine. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.